Welcome to Comtrack, where you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. I'm your host, Tim Leifheit, and we are doing the first in my subsection, Marvel Movie of the Month with Mark Borison. Say hi, Mark.
Hello, everyone. I meant to say hi. I already blew it. Sorry. Let's take it back. We'll do it again. Thank you for having me on, Tim. I think this is going to be a really fun series.
Yeah, man. I've been wanting you on this show for ages, dude, and I thought of no one better to do my Marvel movie subsection than with this cool cat, because he's a big comic book guy. Big comic book guy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark, before we get started?
Sure. So I am an actor, filmmaker, and I guess kind of just general content creator, commercial videographer. I am a lifelong nerd. I'm like nerdy in the way that I loved Star Wars when you couldn't buy Star Wars merch. That's the way I like to describe it the best. I'm like, it's called the early 90s, folks. And there were two places on the planet you could buy Star Wars toys, and it was Disney World and I already forget the other one. I guess Lucasfilm Direct, probably.
Yeah.
It sucks is I prepped this joke this morning too, and I literally tested it out on my wife, and I thought it went okay, and only to forget it here.
You're just like,
again, off to a bad start, but
you're just like all those comedians that write down your jokes beforehand before they go to a set and they just throw it out the window like, give me a drink, I'll just whip this out of my ass.
Yes, I feel confident. It's no surprise that even before he was majorly popular, Tony Stark was an influence.
No kidding, dude.
Which I guess that ties me into Marvel, right? Is that for me, the two gateway drugs into nerddom were Empire Strikes Back, because my funny Star Wars story is that I had never seen A New Hope. I'd only seen Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi because A New Hope never aired at the time. But it was that and the X-Men. And when the 90s X-Men cartoon happened, I was like, oh, I didn't know I loved comic books.
Yes.
And so that was my gateway in. And then obviously love the Marvel movies. The MCU's been a lot of fun. And you graciously picked one of my favorites tonight to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is funny because I've only seen it like once or twice, but I'm just like, man, I love this.
I know, right? It's actually been a while for me too. And with that, we'll actually start talking about the movie at hand. And if for you listening at home, if you just want to skip straight to the movie and just skip past all our bullshit, there is a sync button in below that will immediately sync you up to the movie. But that said, thoughts on the Winter Soldier, sir?
Dude, so I don't really remember a lot of it, but I do remember this. I remember this was like the first time in the MCU that I thought Marvel was like, oh, we're going to actually get weird with it. For real. Like, because prior to that, they were doing cool stuff. And like, yeah, the Avengers one was obviously, it was a movie that you're like, I can't believe I'm seeing this.
I know.
Right?
It was like a big geek. I was having more geekgasms than I have at regular cons watching that movie for the first time.
Oh, for sure. And so, like, it cracked me up just in general because it was like one of those things where I just, again, being the early 90s nerd, where I'm like, I can't believe these exist forever. My whole life, it was just, these will never get made in a movie. So seeing that, but what I liked about the Winter Soldier is I felt like that was the first time in the MCU where things got weird for real. Because, like, one of the things that kind of irks me about the fandom is they'll be like, these movies are real weird now. But realistically, I don't think they're that weird. I think they're just cool. So, like, to me, this has some of the stranger concepts get brought up, like, and I'm, of course, I'm forgetting his name now, that's in the computer system where he's like a reel-to-reel thing. And they find him in one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. archives or whatever in this movie.
Oh, Arnim Zola. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what's his name? He has a cool name. Yeah, Arnim Zola. So when they find him in the computer, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be one of their gateway things into things like AIM and, advanced idea mechanics and other weird stuff. I was like, does this mean MODOK's on the way?
I know.
But there's a lot of weird stuff in this. I remember this is the first time we hear Doctor Strange's name get mentioned by something. And are we going? Everybody's seen it at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's strange that you say this is the weirdest thing. I think definitely the
maybe not the weirdest, but this was like the first time they were like, we're gonna try to get weird every so often.
Yeah, because
before this, everything else was kind of safe. Like Thor is not weird. Thor is just a super powered guy.
Exactly.
That's
Thor
still pretty much just white people.
Thor: The Dark World is still kind of the low point for the Marvel universe. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, but now you put that in perspective because Guardians of the Galaxy didn't show up until later that year. So
For sure. This was one of the first few after Avengers 1?
yeah, it was Iron Man 3, then Thor: The Dark World, then this, then Guardians.
Yeah.
So
that was a good run right there. And you know what's
yeah.
funny is I know that it's funny to say this because like Thor: The Dark World is the bad one, but like the bad one is what, like a C+.
Yeah, I know. Like it's still not the worst.
I remember watching it. And I may have just been in a really good place or a really great mood, but like me and my buddies that went to see it at the time were like, that was pretty cool, man. And then to come out later and hear everybody hated it, we're like, what's wrong with us?
See, I didn't hate Thor: The Dark World. I just thought it was a little subpar compared to the rest of them. Because, dude, we both grew up like in the 90s. We've been there in the 90s when we were starving for comic book movies, man. Like, we
Especially
were lucky to get just one cool one in a decade, man. Like, we were happy with just Christopher Reeve or, Tim Burton Batman, just like the one cool one.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we had a good run with the Batman movies until Batman and Robin, really. And, Batman Forever is not a great, it's
the worst movie you've seen 150 times.
That's super funny. It's funny. I think I've only seen it once. Can you believe that?
Oh, dude, I grew up with that shit as a kid, so like that was like.
Wait, are we saying Batman and Robin are Forever now?
Both actually. It wasn't until.
Okay, so Robin I only saw once, but Forever I saw a bunch because remember how big the marketing was?
Yeah, dude, I still have some of the old memorabilia from my
the
toy
McDonald's
kids.
cup, the glass,
the McDonald's cup. I had some of the Hot Wheel toys, like I had the Bat plane and the Bat boat and the Batmobile from that movie.
That's awesome.
I had a plushie of Batman that I would play with constantly and make him and Superman fight.
Cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Little Frank Miller over there.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. So I'm trying to think. Like the first time I saw this one, it was okay. So Captain America, the first Avenger, not this one, the first Avenger. That was actually my very first midnight movie. That was the first time I went to a show opening night at midnight.
Cool.
And I dressed up as Captain America World War II style. I've done a lot of World War II reenacting throughout my high school years, and I gained enough of the uniform of an American soldier that my art teacher kind of looked at me like, well, why don't you just like convert your stuff into Captain America World War II? And I'm like, that's a great idea. So
yeah, dude.
I wound up.
That costume's so great too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'll see if I can like link you guys all who are listening
Put
a
it
picture
in the,
of it.
Screenshot.
Yeah, sure.
Thumbnail.
Well, you know what? I'll just do this. There it is. There's my screenshot.
Wow, it looks amazing.
I know, right?
That's exactly how I described it moments earlier.
But yeah, no. So I went to that midnight show for First Avenger, and that was immediately where I fell fell head over heels with Captain America. Like I'd read some of his comics beforehand, but I never really got into the character of Cap until I saw that one. So you could tell just how excited I was for this. And as good as this one is, personally, I just don't have quite the same connection.
I get it.
But that said, I still think this is probably the best of Phase 2 of this little bit.
I by the way, I feel very strongly about the first Avenger too. I loved it. I have a lot of like love for my whole life for Joe Johnston, and I'm like, oh, why don't people respect you enough? That's like my feelings, and I'm sure they do. Maybe that's not, you know what I mean? But like, I'm like,
only us cool nerds.
Well, the thing is, he's like the guy that saved studio. Like, I think about like the way he kind of got dogged on things like the Wolfman in 2009 or 10 or whatever that was.
I don't even remember that, man.
Well, he was like the dude that they were like, all right, so we have like 2 weeks to shoot this and no director. Can you come shoot this on the fly? And he's like, okay. And I'm sure that the studio lost way more money than by using someone else. Would have lost more money with someone else if they hadn't used him. He pretty much saved Jurassic Park 3, which I know a lot of people don't love, but like things like that. And then all the cool other shit he's done, like
Rocketeer.
Dude, the Rocketeer, he was like one of the old school Star Wars guys. He was like, Ralph McQuarrie was like, all right, I need a second hand. They were like, all right, let's get this Joe Johnston guy in here. I mean,
don't forget Jumanji.
right?
Yeah.
Dude, he's done so much cool stuff, and I think is one of those filmmakers that deserves more love. Maybe that's the video I'll make one of these days. Why people should love Joe Johnston the way I love Joe Johnston.
That was a funny thing. It was out of the aftermath of the first Avenger, and I'll get to more of this story. But I actually was at WizardCon Chicago 2012. I will never forget this. I wore my Captain America World War II outfit, got it weathered in actual dirt to make it look like I'd been through combat.
Oh, cool.
I wound up finding all of the original props that were used in the film going out on auction, and they were on display in this beautiful, beautiful booth. And I wound up getting the auction magazine for you to look through, and so now I have this beautiful booklet of detailed pictures of all the original props. And so like that's when I started really getting into prop making, and later on I started getting more and more of those through the mail, and I found out the original Jumanji board game prop was going on sale for auction. I don't know where it wound up, but apparently it was actually restored by Joe Johnston himself.
Damn, that's cool. That's a good story.
Right, dude.
The only thing I've done well as a fan is not buy memorabilia. In the regard of I'm like, because if I start, there's no stopping me.
Oh, I know, dude. But I still was compelled to get something there, and I wound up getting it did not appear in any of the films. It was supposed to appear in the background for the first Avenger. It might be in a deleted scene. I haven't found it, but I got the Camp Lehi sign. Yeah, where he trained
for the trains. Yeah. That's awesome.
I got the original
That's so cool.
Camp Lehi sign that was supposed to point you in the direction of the canteens and the portaloos and the barracks and whatnot. And I got it for fairly decent for a technical,
like an actual screen prop. Yeah,
I got it for $400.
Well, they shot it. Whether or not they used it, it still counts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got it for like
that's cool.
$400 too. Like that was about it. So my parents were pissed off about it, but
I can imagine that.
Damn it, I was not going to.
I'm breathing
stop.
a little heavy on your behalf. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Only 400. Was like, damn, I need to be in a better situation.
Oh, dude, like I was even ready to walk away with the bag of peanuts that he offered that one lady, because that was up. Yeah, just
that's so and like I said, it's like things I wouldn't even think of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Like tiny little stupid things, all of which were on auction, and I said, I don't care what it is. I am walking away with something from this movie. Because they were auctioning right there, so I couldn't resist. But
how could you?
Yeah. So that said, you want to start the movie? Because I'm ready to watch. Yeah, dude.
I'm like super hyped for this.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch this for a while. It's been a long time since I've watched it. So, folks,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, this should be fairly fresh.
Yeah.
You know. Good action scenes. Oh, one thing I want to bring up before this.
Yes.
One of my favorite things about this movie, and the moment I really knew I was going to fall in love with it, is in the opening sequence. They do a bunch of really kind of like old school practical effects to show Cap's speed.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where he busts into a room, and he's supposed to be running super fast on the outside of the boat. And he busts through one door, but what they've done is they have a second actor who's just a few seconds before in the cut, so like it looks like he moves through the room almost instantaneously. And it's such a clever, simple little trick. And I remember like squealing in the theater that night, and I was like, oh man, so see if you catch it this time. It's like right in the opening sequence. You see it, he like busts into a door, and then almost you'll notice, now that you know to look for it, you're gonna be like, oh, that was a little too fast. But it's just a really cool filmmaker way of going, hey, this is how powerful. Like the Russo brothers did such a good job in the opening of
gauging his powers.
Yeah, and showing the audience and understanding. So we'll talk about that in a second. I'm sorry, I just want to
somebody's
like,
watching.
Actually, just to keep this
sequel because we're both kind of geeking out. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's hit play. Are you ready?
Well, actually, there's one
Oh,
other
you're
thing.
geeking? No,
Yeah,
sorry.
because there's one thing that I also was like, oh, we're in for a fucking show. Is when Captain America just kicks that one guy off the thing. Like it's like,
Yeah.
it's that kind of movie.
Yeah,
right
that
on.
kind of brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, let's go get this started. Okay, so folks, if you've got it queued up on streaming on Disney Plus, if you've got the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever,
The digital copy, that's what I'm using.
yep. We just cue yours up because we are going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, click. And here comes the Marvel logo. Okay, so I believe this was the second time this long, new, big one was done. They premiered it for Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I remember. I forgot about the old logo, but that's right. And then we have an even newer one now.
Yeah,
right?
and this one just gets so cool. I love the fact that they use all those stills from the comic book to add to it. They've been doing that since like
You know what else too? I think wasn't this the first time they branded it as Marvel Studios too? Was around this time?
I believe so. I think Marvel Studios was actually founded for the first Iron Man.
Okay.
Marvel Studios was kind of a thing in the early
But
2000s,
They
but
had the Paramount distribution, so I was
Yeah,
assuming they didn't have like the studios. I just meant the word studios on it.
no, I think they had the studios on it, but I think that this is like one of the first times where they're doing it on their own now. Like,
Right
fuck you,
on.
Paramount, we don't need you.
Right.
And then we got Captain
On
America's
your left.
first line on your left, immediately just iconic.
I kind of love too.
Oh, and you mentioned.
how
Oh, wait,
this movie sort of.
right here. When you mention right here, where he walks off frame and he's all the way down there.
Oh, that's not even the one I meant, but that's
Yeah.
a great.
Yeah,
Dude, that's awesome.
tiny little
That
camera
is-
tricks like that.
I actually never noticed that one, but that's a great trick.
Yeah, because
And it's done practical. It's just a stunt double in the distance.
Yep.
It's super easy.
yeah, it's even you and I could do that. Like something
exactly.
simple as that, and that's what I
But
love
you know
about
what's funny?
this.
Is thinking about it, I bet the studios don't do it simply. They probably like, all right, we're gonna go ahead and use motion control camera work, and we're gonna shoot the scene like
Yeah.
18 times. We're gonna here's the plate, here's the foreground. You know what I mean?
I've seen studios where I'm like remember in the new Justice League movie where you see Cyborg in just like a hoodie and sweatpants. You can tell he's CG, and I'm like, dude, I could give you the same effect for $5 and a trip to the thrift store.
Yeah, exactly. It's
It's so
That
stupid.
movie was terrible.
I know, right?
Ugh.
But yeah, no. So this is our introduction to Sam Wilson, and Anthony Mackie. I read apparently really lobbied for this part. Like he said, "I'll do anything to be in a Marvel movie." Like, because he apparently really wanted to be in there for his kids, and of course, black representation, which we got an even bigger spades with Black Panther a couple years later. Man, that was awesome.
Oh, Black Panther. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was watching them talk. I'm like, oh yeah. I
these-
always love this scene because I think it's like one of those cool little like character friend building moments.
I love the
Because
list.
it works well for Cap's like learning. Yeah, exactly.
The-
Cap having the list is great. And I love that Sam's like really invested in that pretty early on. Because the thing is, Sam is doing like, I feel like this is a great example of how to be cool if you ever meet a celebrity you like. Because that's totally what's happening here.
That's totally
And he's like,
right.
"Oh, you like things? Oh, we're both people. That's really cool." And they bond over normal shit. Where they're like, "Oh, you also?" You know, in this
Yeah.
case, they're like, "We're both soldiers." And then, you know, of course, the big difference here. This is how you get brought back down to earth after you meeting the celebrity. Is Scarlett Johansson picks them up, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, see ya. We're gonna go
Right.
drive around in this expensive car."
The very expensive car.
So great.
I know, right? I love his list. Apparently, depending on where you've seen this in the world, it's different from country to
They have,
country.
like a few more like cultural,
Yep.
like specific references.
Yeah, like in
That's cool.
Japan, you'll see him like write down DDR and things like that. It's so much fun. But
Our first appearance of Frank Grillo here playing, he's Brock Rumlow.
yeah, Rumlow, aka Crossbones. And
Yeah, Grillo's done a bunch of movies here in Cincinnati, which is cool.
Yeah. And I know a lot of this movie was shot in Cleveland, actually. I actually talked to one of the camera operators who visited for a college lecture, and he was really cool. I really wish I got his number so maybe he could get me a job.
That's awesome. Well, you know, it's one of the things. It was really funny. I was joking about this the other night with somebody where I was like, if I need to move for my career and things keep going better, and I'm like, I would definitely come back here to shoot movies because they're from Cleveland. They're just dudes who like made it big and were like, hey, it'd be a good idea. And I bet they are way smarter on their budget because they shoot in a location like this rather than a lot of these other big budget ones.
Yeah.
Would go full on. But I think Cleveland's brilliant. But though I think they shot some of Avengers 1 in Cleveland too.
Yeah, they did. Like some of the downtown, like on the street stuff that they did.
Sure. This is such a cool. This whole sequence is great, and I love Natasha Black Widow here setting up the recurring gag of the you want to
date, trying to set up Captain America a date.
Yeah. Can you imagine being able to jump out of a plane without a parachute and it not being a problem?
What was it in the Ultimates where he's like parachutes are for girls.
Such a 2001.
I know, that was so long ago. Do you remember when they were like actually writing the Ultimates to make it into an Avengers movie eventually, like to the point where they're even the conversation with the heroes were like, all right, if our lives were a movie, like, of course, Sam Jackson got the cherry on top of that cake.
They were definitely drawing them. Here we go.
Yeah, the stealth stuff. We got a little bit of Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Cap here.
Yeah,
which I thought was really cool.
So here's your kick, and the shield bash is gnarly too.
I know, dude. He is crazy good with that shield. But I love that boom! Damn!
Ooh.
Like, it was right there. I'm like, Jesus, we're in for a real brutal show. Like, holy shit,
here comes my trick shot right here.
Yeah, where there's like...
so it's just good. A little too quick, right? Where you're like, oh, he is that superhuman.
Yeah, and it also helps with the pacing of the shot. Like, it's not too long, because otherwise you'd have this moment where you have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds, and it ruins the pace of the action and that momentum.
That was the hit that got me the most, because that when he kicked that guy in the face, his hand moved off the wall, but he had a knife through his hand into the wall. I was like, oh, that hurt a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
And I also love like the juxtaposition of Cap having this like comical kind of date-related scene in the previous shot, only to him be like, I've got a job to do, and that job is almost murdering like 40 dudes.
I know. Or at least giving heavy concussions to.
Sure.
Nice.
So good.
I love that. But I love that without a beat, they just go right back into, bantering with each other like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
That seems nice.
Oh, and we got Agent Sitwell among the hostages.
And it was funny because this movie really, again, I like them getting weird with things, because the reveal about him later in the movie I thought was clever and I did not see coming.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, because I'm definitely one of those like cinema dorks that's going to be like, these are fun and I love them, but I also recognize that they're like big budget, broad audience movies.
Yeah.
And so that was one of those things where like, to me, I'm like, are any of these going to surprise me? And this surprised me.
Yeah.
Right? And I loved it. And it like made me fall harder in love. And I've been writing Captain America Winter Soldier letters for 6 years.
Yeah. Cause apparently I read up, like, I wasn't too familiar with the Sitwell's character in the comics, but apparently he's like the goody two shoes in the comic. So the fact that he's like a big double agent is like a big, big shocker, even to us geeky comic fans.
That's a great point.
Oh, dude.
I felt like they had to do that with some of those like lower tier characters that nobody would care about. If
yeah.
A little heel turn on it.
Because that's the really cool part about Marvel, is it's being written by people who actually give a shit about the comics, and for all its weird and weird stuff and all its blemishes and flaws and whatnot. Like they they get us, man. And that's what makes it so cool. Oh yeah, Batro, the leaper. One of Yeah, that's the other thing about Captain America, and like most of the Marvel heroes, is they don't always have the greatest villains.
For sure, dude.
But they still manage to give some plausible credibility and some real force to their villains, despite the fact that you're not like as familiar with them as, say, like the DC villains.
Yeah, right. I love that they got George St. Pierre to play Batroc.
Right,
So cool.
an actual MMA fighter, like
Who speaks French too? That was the
Yeah.
other thing where I was like, genius.
right. It's great,
So it's
dude.
like you could do, and it was probably they had. I wonder if that was what they were trying to cast. If they
Yeah.
were like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we got a martial artist who also speaks the language,
Yeah.
but also can speak English?
Yeah, so like when it comes to the actual day of fighting, he not only can he, do the job at hand and make it look good and work well with the stunt choreographers, but he can also be like, I'm an MMA fighter who got to fight Captain America. Like
Exactly.
who, even if you're not a Marvel fan, as big as these movies have gotten internationally, who wouldn't want to say that?
Yeah, that got him a couple extra endorsement deals.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Like when you work for the
I,
mouse.
Right.
Want an extra bonus?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're like, you have to get at least an 88% on Metacritic.
All right, so in 3, 2, wait, are we gonna blow it?
They're gonna
Yep,
blow
there it goes.
slow.
Yep. Nice.
Oh my god. And what's funny about Jasper Sitwell is he just has like such a punchable face.
I know.
Whoever that actor is, I'm sorry.
That's,
I'm sure is your performance and not your actual face, but it's both.
honestly, that's just really good casting because, like, your minor characters are the ones you really got to look out for because, your main actors, your lead roles, and all that, they have so much screen time to develop their character. Minor characters only get like, a few seconds or minutes to do theirs. So it would kill you to not get the right, bit actor for
Sure.
certain roles.
It's a good point.
Damn.
Something I love about this fight, by the way,
Yeah.
is that it's one of the few times outside of like his fights with Bucky where Cap kind of doesn't hold. It's not that he's doing bad, but like he definitely, if he was not a super soldier, probably wouldn't be winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's one of the few times where he can actually unleash his full fighting ability on a person.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
I love that last backflip he does too.
Man. Oh, and I love this where he's just like, all right, let's go. I don't need
And
it.
I also love that he's just like, Cap's like, I speak French.
Yeah.
I would feel like having the shield on your back was a terrible idea for a fight scene.
But I'll be damned.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine. He's a super soldier. Nothing should really affect him. That kick is so nasty.
Right? But he's still getting up. Not for long, though.
Oof. Right through the door
Whew.
/ filing cabinet.
Damn. Oop. Black Widow, what porn are you looking at?
She's actually just checking like some Reddit post, upvoting a few things. She's like, people hate everyone on Reddit. I'm like, why are you doing that in the middle of a Shield intel run? I guess Cap's always a little bit weird, but I feel like one of the nice things in this is that Cap kind of learns a little bit about not trusting your bosses necessarily. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, I
He
mean,
learns
he's from a more black and white time where it was where people trusted each other a little bit more. The dangers weren't as seeped in, and now with this more gray and modern world, it's a little bit harder to tell who's friend and foe. Which
sure.
is such a great theme, by the way, because Lord knows this movie is super relevant. Like, it's gotten even more relevant 6 years later.
Oh, yeah.
SHIELD headquarters.
Dude, seeing the Triskelion, that's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, I think
But seeing that was super cool.
right.
For the first time, I love all the helicarrier stuff. I love the design of most of these space. Like, I love all the offices. The only thing I always get I'm like, the floors always look so plain downstairs. Like that opening area, I was like, this is SHIELD. There would be gnarly looking stuff in there, probably, right?
Probably.
Because it's a comic book world. Not like in real life. Yeah, it would look like that, like a mall that they repurposed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that I think visually that's to gauge to the audience that this is a little bit more of a grounded Shield. You know, like
Sure.
it is a little bit more like a subsidiary of the government.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I think that's really just a way to keep things in one foot because Kevin Feige has said many times that this movie is actually a political thriller that's masquerading as a superhero film. So you want to keep like one good large foot in the reality in order to maintain that level of verisimilitude.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look at you throwing out those big words.
Well, I'm a big fan of Richard Donner and the making of all of his Superman movies.
Oh, yeah. Man, we could do a whole series on that.
Oh, I know, right?
Something else I always think about in this is I like how frequently we revisit locations in this movie.
Yes.
And again, now my production side is like, did they do that so they could do
like
large sequences all on the same days? They're like, all right, now we're resetting. It's night. We're going to do now it's night in your apartment, Chris. Get back there.
Well, I do like
we see the elevator twice.
Well, first off, I do love the story of his grandfather in the elevator of the past, but I also love how it actually does foreshadow that great fight sequence in the elevator later.
Right.
That's some really good. It's a good way of foreshadowing where you are. I like
so
that.
So you can then you will do the same thing. Hopefully that the character does in that moment, which is think about that story again.
Yeah.
While that scene goes down, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, new helicarriers with slightly bigger guns.
Right.
Just a little bit, and a shitload more Quinjets.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember.
Remember when the Quinjet was just like a singular thing that was associated with Avengers? Now there's a whole freaking fleet of them.
Yeah, now it's like everybody has their own. They're like, oh yeah, it's a Quinjet. Where's my Fantasticar?
I know, right? I was so.
So these are next gen. These are like the PS5 of helicarriers.
Yeah. Well,
they run entirely. They're all solid state drives inside, solid state machine guns.
I do love the line where he's like, yeah, that when he got an up close look at the our old turbines. When he was literally inside them during the Avengers,
that's great.
That's some really great stuff, and it is like a really natural progression because we in a world that does have repulsor lift technology, you'd think you want to slap it on giant battleships,
everything.
Of
it
course,
would be one of those things where I'd be like, everything I own now has the ability to lift itself and move at my discretion.
Makes moving so much easier.
It would make everything easier. You'd just be like, all right, chair, take off, go to refrigerator.
And then we'd all look like everyone in the movie WALL-E.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'd be smart about it. I'd be like, Coke, 0 sugar. Thank you.
That one line where he's like, "This isn't fear, this isn't freedom, this is fear." Dear God, has that aged magnificently? Okay,
even funnier. Here's the bridge again. So it's another time that
yeah,
we're gonna see this.
Dude, you're totally right.
It's kind of funny. I wonder why. I'm like, maybe I'm overthinking that. But
it totally is. Okay, this is my favorite
it's
scene.
Almost all the sequences have two of them. What is this? I'm sorry.
This is my favorite scene in the whole freaking movie. Also, look closely. The guy coming down the escalator is Joss Whedon.
Is he really?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
But
I see it now.
The music. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I was at WizardCon, where all the original props and costumes were on display, and I was dressed as World War II Captain America. So in a weird way, I felt like I was coming home. Now, when I saw this scene in the theater, this was the most powerful scene for me, not just because it's Cap going back to his past, but because this moment that's coming up where he sees all of his... all of the Howling Commando costumes and his old suit lined up in a beautiful row, and he looks back at it. I had that moment in real life.
That's really cool.
That was wait for it. It's gonna cut here.
Beautiful.
Dude, like they had it like roughly like they didn't have the beautiful mural in the background or anything. It was just kind of like a really small
Sure.
booth, but they
Dude,
had
imagine.
all of them lined up, and I was in utter awe. I really wish I had a camera there. I think I took a picture. It just didn't. I just lost it somewhere. But you were saying,
Think about this.
yeah,
Why with Disney's money? Okay, they'll do some stuff at Disney Planet
Disney
Disneyland in
Planet.
LA or Anaheim every so often. Why? And they tried something in Vegas because I'm just trying to stop anybody who might give me shit after I say this. Why is there not a like a Marvel museum? Think about. I wonder what they did with all this stuff from the scene. I can't imagine they destroyed it all
No.
or sold it all necessarily.
No.
Imagine being able to go to this exhibit, for example, and so it'd be like twofold. That it'd be like this cutesy little like, oh, we're in the MCU right now moment, right? But also you'd be able to like look at all the costuming work and all the props and all the cool stuff you'd want to see. You could have Tony's Hall of Armors and like
Yeah.
do something cool like that, which I think they've done at Disneyland before. But you could, if you really did a good job designing it, I feel like it could be even cooler.
Oh,
in
that
person,
would be
but-
cool.
Okay, so
yes.
oh, go ahead.
No.
No. I had a question about the scene. Is Peggy Carter? Is this a different actress, or do they have what's her name, an old lady
Yeah,
makeup?
it's not makeup. It's digital de-aging with, and yes, that is actually Haley Atwell. She did come back.
Okay, so wait,
literally
that's
for this.
digital aging.
Yeah,
because she's old here.
Digital aging. Sorry, I'm so used to
No.
the application of them going back in time instead of forward.
For sure. Well, I've always wondered this, and I've never looked it up, and I felt like you would know the answer. And I'm sitting here going, like, they did an excellent job doing this, but the only tell is her eyes because she still looks really alive. In the
Yeah, it's the uncanny valley, which I'm like, they went for it and they just missed it. It's like it's them going over Springfield Gorge, but they don't quite make it and plumble down.
There you go. That's great. What's funny is I honestly buy the effect. I mean, enough to say, is it a different? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you caught me genuinely at the beginning of this question. So there's that part of me that's like, I feel like they did good. I felt like it was her in age makeup because her eyes look like a young woman's eyes. If that makes like in the actual eye itself.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's so funny, dude. You just blew my mind tonight with this.
Well, that's awesome.
This is the real Winter Soldier, dude.
Oh, this moment is heartbreaking where it's clear that she has Alzheimer's and
So sad.
I know, right? He waited that entire time in the ice promising that he'd have a date. But Jesus.
Yeah.
He had to go all the way back in time and space in order to get it though. Thank
I
God
feel like
he
at
did.
some point they're going to try to do I feel like they're going to try to do like a Disney Plus one-off or mini-series or something about that era of time. Can you imagine? That'd be their future pitch.
Well, I mean, they do have Agent Carter on ABC.
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes. I really dug it. I also really loved the short film that they put out.
I don't remember that one, I don't think.
It was basically her, kind of getting crap for she's a woman and she's only limited to secretary stuff. She cares about a lead and she kicks ass and shows him
Sure.
up. And then Howard Stark's like, "You want to be a founding member of S.H.I.E.L.D.?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a really cool little short.
Wow. Sorry, no, I got lost here in the moment. I love this little bit with just that little quiet moment. briefly
Yeah,
with
that
Samuel L.
that
there.
looks straight out of the comics, dude. And I
Yeah.
love the hollow tubes to project these council members.
And I love that the one guy on the far left there,
Yeah.
that he's also like he's pretty much like in his exact same costume from The Dark Knight.
I know, right? Maybe that's a little bit of a crossover there. Like,
This is the DC Marvel. What do they call it in the 90s? The amalgam universe.
yeah, yeah. Dude, the fact that they got Robert fucking Redford for this role.
Well, I will say this though. Robert Redford is probably cool. One.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Since he, I would argue, was responsible through his early career in inventing a lot of probably what we think is cool.
Not to mention
But
being
also,
a member of the one of the founding members of Sundance Film Festival, which is
for sure,
great.
Right? Yeah,
for,
so he's like, hey, I like to support, and I'm sure he's not like I obviously am making money off this.
Yeah.
But he's clearly supporting young filmmakers. But the other thing I was going to say is, he probably got paid pretty good to do this.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
The mouse
I
has
wonder
some-
what kind of a contract they made him get paid.
Well, I think
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think he was
I
just
said
on.
that horribly.
No, it's cool. Like I think he just was on this movie because I know he wanted to play a villain because he almost never gets to play one. But I also think his grandkids are like big Marvel fans, so he's like, oh, it'd be really cool to actually be in this. And Marvel's like, great, we were going for this political thriller tone, so it'd be even great to kind of subvertingly or like subliminally referencing all the President's Men at the same time. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what was the one I kept wanting to say?
Yeah, it was all the President's Men. Even I actually looked it up right beforehand.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, Flight of the Condor was the name of the movie I kept trying to think of.
That's it.
Okay, so
yeah.
Robert Redford got paid at least $4 million for this role, and he's in the movie for like 4 minutes.
Well, he's not. I think it's more like
I'm
for like 15,
exaggerating, of course.
15 minutes
For sure.
Either way, that's.
But if you're
still...
doing it, like, think about that. If you're making like $1 million, you know what I mean? He's like
Yeah.
probably making like a few $100,000 a minute of screen time.
Yep.
But having been on some sets before, it is not easy work either. It's a
No.
lot of long, tedious hours. And
Yep.
like being creative is. I'm not obviously trying to be
Yeah.
anything but funny here, but that's what I keep thinking about.
I love this scene that the Russo brothers set for Captain America, where he goes to the VA hospital. Like, I love that even though you don't really thinking about it at the time, you're like, Cap's looking at that like, I could be doing this. It seems like my kind of route. Because he does
For sure.
feel like, your favorite high school teacher. Like, just one that's just so cool and laid back and patient and nice and thoughtful, Like,
Sure.
and I believe that they were pitching that around. Like, Cap has been declared dead for a while and whatnot. So he's like, how do I stay financially stable? But of course, in this universe, he's basically employed by the government, so he's fine. But, in some comic versions, it's like he had to struggle by being an illustrator, being a teacher, and, doing all these different things. So,
Sure.
but it's a real testament to his character. Or ultimate fighting.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's funny to me, because, and I'll try to get to this quick
Yeah.
without really setting you off, because I know when I do that, it will. But it's funny to me that DC movies have struggled so bad with Superman and his characterization.
Oh.
Literally, Marvel was just like, "Don't worry, we got it for you guys."
I
Here's
know,
Captain America,
it's so-
who's very similar, and I feel like they both should be sort of similar in that regard.
Yeah, they're both the altruistic, lead by example, exemplary versions of what we perceive America could be at its finest.
right. And people and humanity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Okay.
This is like such a great action scene. I remember they released this before. So what was the Marvel movie that came out before this? Was
Thor: The Dark
Thor
World.
2?
Yeah.
I remember going to see something and they played this sequence in the movie, but I don't think it was Thor because my mom loves the Marvel movies, so usually if I do a midnight show, I'll go with my friends and then she'll usually see it like the next day or whatever. But now that midnight shows are at 7:00, she's way in.
Yeah.
And wasn't that crazy?
It's
But
nuts.
this whole scene is great. This is like a great example of just building tension in a scene in general, I feel like.
Right?
There's a lot of good, like if you've noticed this, and you I know you would, Tim, but I'm saying the audience, the editing is a lot quicker here. If you start counting how often they cut shots,
Yeah.
you'll notice it's a lot faster now because it's supposed to feel panicky like you should be feeling.
Yeah.
They have the counter. There's literally the, quote, ticking bomb here with the armor on the car getting
Peppered
reduced
by, yeah.
as we go. My headphones just popped out in a moment of excitement.
Oh,
They're setting up the
dude.
battering ram, and then to give
Grand,
you the idea of
grand,
this
grand,
scene is way slower.
grand. Lord of the Rings reference.
Yeah, right. Oh man, I love watching this. I felt like this
Dude.
too, where it's like, oh. it's
Also,
gonna
can
punch
we
the
just talk
car.
about how ridiculously armored his car is? Like
Yeah, it's
during this
super
sequence,
cool.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, whatever he's doing to his car, I want it. And then, wait for it. Now! Oh, Jesus Christ. And it's not enough. We gotta have a fucking grenade launcher coming out. Can you imagine if he aimed it just a little bit too far to the right or left?
It'd be Saints Row.
Oops.
There's so much good stuff here too, where I love where he's just like, I love when they like try to get the hover systems online.
Yeah,
That was
like,
great.
dude, this thing flies too. Like, what else is hiding in this thing?
Well, because I'd imagine at this point the idea is that once Stark and the Avengers happen, right, in the first Avengers movie, that everything now is partly a Chevy, but also like the HUD is totally Stark style.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because I mean, why not, right? Patent that shit.
Oh yeah,
Make it available for everyone.
that
And
should
then
be
this
a
line.
quick moment for me to. Oh yeah, communications. Yeah. Those good little zingers.
I love
The
that.
Marvel movies are always good at the little like quick one-liners like that.
Yep. And look at these shots of the chase sequence, because this is right downtown Cincinnati, or not Cincinnati,
Cleveland.
yeah. Because when you see him turn coming up here, you'll be very clearly to see the Route 6 logo, which I've driven down so many times, like it's not even funny.
I've barely spent any time in Cleveland. I was up there for a few auditions. That's been about it.
I have a couple friends up there. Plus, I used to take Route 6 to and from Toledo from Toledo to
you're
Chicago.
from up that way, right?
Yeah.
Chicago, right?
Yeah, so I would take Route 6 as opposed to the freeway, just because I like driving through the country a little bit more.
Oh, of
So
course.
it's
No, I totally get it.
Yeah, it's
Always a nice experience.
It's a little bit more scenic.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, the opening scene sort of sets the brutality tone of this movie too, which I think is like,
Damn.
like I mean that again for a Marvel movie too. It's
God.
a lot of like bloodless deaths. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
but
it's
like
just
those
some-
are really intense.
I mean, they might be bloodless, but they know how to bring the pain. Yeah, okay, there's the Route
For
6.
sure.
There's the Route 6 sign.
Oh, nice. There it is.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm like, hey, that's not Washington, D.C.
And you know this cost them like way less money to shut down.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, when I'm at Avengers level money, that's what I'm gonna shoot movies here because it's not gonna cost me anything.
Right.
And then I'm gonna spend all the extra budget money on Junior Mints Peppermint Crunch because they're only available in the month of December. So
Man,
I'm planning ahead.
You gotta imagine the only thing that they probably are adding in post is like the muzzle flashes off the gun because it's not quite safe.
I think a lot of the bullet holes are also digital because in
Yeah.
a few scenes they move weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure in like what can be, I'm sure they
this.
probably took a. Yeah, that was gnarly.
Jesus, when I saw that, I'm like, wow, that was nuts. Like, and you know it's real too, because damn. And then of course we got our first appearance. Finally, we are 32 minutes in, and we finally get to see the Winter
The title
Soldier.
character.
Yeah, the other title character rather.
Yeah, right. This was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, the Star Wars crossover here.
Yeah,
where
with
Samuel
the-
Jackson
with-
brings out his lightsaber.
I wonder if that one also has the engraving bad motherfucker on it.
Motherfucker on it.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's actually something cool that someone pointed out to me? It looks like the exact same laser thing that they use to melt Cap out of the ice. Which
That makes sense because one of the things that this is like, it doesn't bother me because I'm just like, okay, there's like ridiculous, goofy tech, and almost everything's sort of Deus Ex Machina-y at times.
Yeah.
Where I was like, when I saw the scene, I was like, how did he carve through the ground? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a little.
But no, so you mentioning that laser is great because that makes not that it doesn't make sense before because I'm willing to just be like, yeah, there's technology that does not make sense in
Yeah,
this movie. That's like the
course.
point of this universe. But I always thought that was great. So here's the first of the two Cap's apartments.
Yes, yes. And we get this very mixed kind of flirt here because I remember a friend of mine hadn't seen this, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, you want to?" We had like 2 hours to kill. Like, "Oh, you want to sit down and watch Captain America 2? You haven't seen? I know you haven't seen it yet." And he's like, and I remember him watching this scene, and he's like, "Mixed signals, okay? Like, thanks."
Right? So ridiculous.
I know. Although, you know what I was kind of really hoping? That this character, Agent 13, I was kind of hoping that it was the woman who checked in on him as he woke up in the future.
Yeah,
Because
that was her.
I was kind of hoping that would be the same actress, because I distinctly remember for the Avengers, because I was geeking out about it so freaking hard at the end of the movie. She goes, "All agents code 13." I'm like, are they? Is that Agent 13? Is that like Cap's next love interest? Like, oh, how cool is that? That's awesome. But nah, guess not. Let's see, Barack Obama, The Night Stalkers. Got some interesting books on Cap's desk here. Oh, and It's Been a Long, Long Time. The song that plays at the end of Endgame. Damn, they set that seat up early, didn't they?
That's interesting. I wonder if some of the music choices were Russo brothers things.
They might have.
Wait a second. So am I wrong? So are there multiple scenes in his apartment in this? I thought this was a different scene here actually. So now I feel dumb. This is how long it's been though.
I think this is the only. You know what? You're probably thinking of the deleted scene in the Avengers, because
that could be too.
Yeah, because there was a great. I don't know why they had that deleted scene, but it was the scene where it was Captain America like looking through all of his old Shield buddies and all his old Howling Commandos. They'd all been dead. Peggy Carter's listed as alive, and he has her phone number, but he's hesitant to do it. He goes out to the street feeling alienated, and he waits at a cafe, and waitress is like really nice to him, and then Stan Lee goes, "Ask for her number, you moron."
Nice.
Like,
that's great.
I love that little bit, and I really wish they kept that in the movie, but they were like, "Nah, it kind of slows up the movie, so fuck
Sure.
you. It's going on disc 2 of the DVD." Oh
man,
damn!
that's a great scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you can already see, like, they already were, like, really tense when they were just kind of communicating with his phone and trying to be like, ears everywhere, ears everywhere.
Oh, yeah, and I love how many times I feel like they are constantly almost killing him.
Yeah, I know, right? That is like a Marvel tradition, to kill someone, but not really kill them.
Yeah, right.
Yep. His. And then I love this. They don't call him Fury, they call him Foxtrot.
That's great.
And then that. Fuck yeah!
Yeah, I think this was part of. So when they showed those scenes from the movie, they showed some of the Sam Jackson chase scene, and they showed this chunk here because I love the practical effect here with the papers
Right.
in his office.
Yeah!
Where they like blew the paper in
Bam!
there. I'm like, that's so cool.
No, he just smashes through him like motherfucker is
Yeah.
on a mission, man.
Yeah, and this, I was so mad that they spoiled this scene in the trailers
Yeah, a little bit.
because, dude, had that happened in theaters, people would have screamed. If
They
had
would
never
have
shown that.
Yeah.
People would have lost their minds.
Oh, dude! Like if they had, it's kind of like in Thor Ragnarok where they, like the big teaser at the end is Hulk coming out, and you're like, Planet Hulk is like now part of this, and like, can you imagine if you had no clue the Hulk was going to be in there?
Yeah.
Everyone would have lost their shit, man.
Dude, it's so true too because like what's funny about that is that they really set that scene up clever too. When I finally saw Thor Ragnarok and that scene's coming up, I'm like, oh, the little puffs of smoke when they're talking about the
Great Warrior.
They saw the Great Warrior, and they're doing like there's like visual cues in that there's like green smoke that they blast. Whenever I was like, oh my gosh, like there's all these little tells too that would have been paid off really nicely.
Yeah,
And I'm sure the filmmaker did not want to reveal that.
Yeah,
in a way.
Taika Waititi's
I get that they have to.
Yeah, I mean, Taika Waititi's smart, but he wouldn't be that atrocious with it. Although,
No.
I will say this: it was really ballsy of him not only to get "Immigrant Song" from Led Zeppelin directly, not just for the movie, but also for the teaser trailer. That actually was kind of a ballsy move on Taika's part. But
Oh yeah, that was cool.
yeah, the thing about Winter Soldier is is.
Yeah, right.
Up, flatline.
Well, there's nothing to talk about here. You're like, oh, look at Sam Jackson's corpse. That's so crazy. Also, why is everything super cool, high tech stuff, but then this hospital is just our world?
That's the American healthcare system.
The Marvel movies are constantly making commentary on that. That would be hilarious.
I wouldn't. You know what? I feel like that's that would be a thing that the Russo brothers would be like. Yeah, that's totally what we were doing. No, we weren't.
Yeah, right. I feel.
It.
Yeah, right. I feel like that's how I want. Yeah, I don't even know. That's so silly, though.
It is because
how ridiculous is that thumb drive, by the way?
I know.
This is supposed to be the secret thumb drive of like a super covert organization. It should look like one of my Yubico keys. I wish they were my sponsor. But they're like these flat little USB security keys you use that are super tiny.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait,
why is this thing the size of my hand?
And I get that it's a prop. But they could also be like, it's a micro. I don't even know. Every time I see it, I'm laughing.
I think the whole reason why is because, like, look, the mouse is like, you better have that Shield logo on the damn prop, otherwise
right.
You're fired.
Well, a lot of that stuff too is probably because they want this to play in international markets, which is why a lot of the dialogue I wouldn't say is. Like easy. I don't want to easy. Maybe it sounds negative in me saying that, but right, like a lot of the scenes, I feel like if you didn't speak the language, you could probably figure out the tone of what's going on in the scene.
Yeah.
So I also think there's that thing where it's like, oh, maybe what's happening here is that they, you know what I mean? They're doing that for the foreign audiences.
That would make sense because you kind of want to. I think simple is the word you were looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
now here's like another big plot hole that I think Honest Trailers pointed out. You're gonna bet the entire fate of the world and moreover Shield and all that stuff over someone not wanting a thing of Bubblicious.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I just imagine in the universe she's just like, well, so it's Hubba Bubba. So she probably looked up what is the least sold gum out of vending machines. That's the type of woman Natasha is to me. And she's like, I have the data. It's Hubba Bubba and regular flavor.
I wonder what the bidding war for that product placement went for.
Yeah, seriously. Insane, I bet. Insane.
Oh, totally.
The honor's mine, Captain.
Oh, that's really cool. Like, because I love that they do mix in actual history along with Marvel's fictional history. Like, they'll reference things like the 101st Airborne, Operation Paperclip, and, like, more grounded stuff like that. But
sure.
I think this is, like, one of the few scenes that I have issue with filmmaking-wise. Like, the performance, the writing, the tone, all of that is just fine. And really does its job, but this is a little thing that I've always kind of been irked by in modern cinema, is that the camera angles and the edits aren't ever really motivated. It's just shooting lots of coverage and then cut from close up to close up to close up, and nothing interesting really visually happens. And I really wish that they, scenes like this could be staged more interestingly. Like, you could have, like, almost the entire scene shot in a long shot, and you could have it run interesting as long as you either move the characters around, or if you want to have them sit down have them just sit down and talk, have something interesting going on in the background, to kind of draw your eye in.
See that, yeah. All right, the thing is, I think, again, that sort of idea of simplicity is probably for that broad appeal, right? Because, like, if you think about, like, the wilder swings Marvel, for example, has taken, that's the stuff that seems like less audience popular, which, to Disney is, we're here for money. We want to hit the wire. We don't care if Mark and Tim go see this. They want Mark's mom to see this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With somebody with, like, no real vested interest in this outside of knowing that I had one and thus theirs. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I was the gateway for it. And just something to think, something there too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Marvel productions is the show Legion, and it is shot insane. It is like constantly crazy. It's the coolest looking thing Marvel's ever done, and I'm always like, man, it sucks that we will probably never get more Marvel stuff in that tone because it like did well, but it didn't do like Avengers well.
Yeah, well, that I mean, the joke is like half the time Kevin Feige tends to forget anything that isn't part of the movies themselves. Like when the last time we got a short film was around this time, like 2014. Like,
yeah, I think they stopped doing it somewhere around here intentionally. And you know what's really funny is one of the things during that era that got me inspired to get into a talent agency and thus started working as an actor professionally was I will never forget this. I said it to my mom. I think it was the short where I feel like it's Lizzie Kaplan's in it, I think, and some guy from some movie from the early 2000s. But they're hunting down one of I think it's a Chitauri gun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't really remember the details, but I remember watching it and being like, man, it's so cool. These Marvel one-shots are fun little shorts. And it's like a great thing to get us interested in. And with Disney Plus being a thing, you'd think they'd be doing more cool stuff like that.
Yeah, you would, but
that was one of the things I was like, I'm gonna get into a Marvel one-shot movie, and that was my goal for a while.
Oh.
And then they stopped doing those, so I was like, well, I guess I gotta just be an Avenger instead.
Or,
and listen,
get like
we
a
know
little
the
bit part.
audiences want it. They had Fat Thor, dude. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm that dude. I'm the leader of the men's body revolution.
Actually, you know what? That's good.
Dude, the movement needed a leader. I am that guy.
Nice to know. But no, there's actually a bit part that I think could have been perfect for you. And I'll let you know when it comes up. Huh?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Because
I can't wait.
I recognize the actor. I've seen him do some College Humor shorts and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
But yeah,Ll point him out because I think it's the point where.
The Apple guy, right?
Yeah.
He's part of Donald Glover's group from back in the day, Derek Comedy too. I can't remember his name now, but like. Yeah, he is hilarious, and that scene's great. I would have crushed. You're right.
Oh yeah, you totally would have killed it in that role.
Yeah. I can't wait for you to see what I worked on this week.
Oh,
this is such a great scene,
dude. The elevator sequence, like, I honestly, okay, I'm hard pressed to remember an elevator action sequence that was this thrilling outside of that opening sequence of Speed way back in the day.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's great too. And what's funny though is like Speed, it's an action sequence, no doubt, but this is like an action sequence, right? You know what I mean? Like
this is a fight sequence,
right? In the elevator, where Speed is way more like this dramatic, insane moment. Like, oh yeah, this is great too.
Yep, and just more and more dudes coming in.
So right, and we're just thinking, and I love that everybody eyeballs him as they walk in too. So it's like extra threatening as they're like, okay.
Yep.
And they purposely surround him.
Yep. And then of course he spots the wait for it when he's gonna looks over to this one guy right here talking, and you see just a tiny bead of sweat. Right there. Oh shit! He knows what's up.
Yeah.
And then of course these guys.
Right.
And the big giveaway to them, they're like records.
Right.
So they're like, bullshit. You guys aren't going to records. Y'all are here to take me in. And Chris Evans just acting with his eyes and conveying that sense of, oh crap, this is what I got to do. Love it.
Right.
And then I love this line.
Good. What's funny about this idea too is that this elevator is pretty good sized, but like there's too many dudes for this fight. In like a realistic situation,
yeah.
It'd be like send 6 in maybe and not 11.
Well, it is Cap.
True.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that was a good kick too.
And I love the sound that they put, because again, it's a lot of bloodless action, but you'd be damned. Yeah, well, you know that they really upped the ante just to get those bones breaking.
I love that too, where he slams in the camera. It's awesome.
Good shit, man.
Yeah. He does the whole thing with the one brace on too. So cool. One of those things I always thought would have been great in this scene is if it was really that powerful of a magnet that he was struggling with, if that he kept kind of almost getting adhered repeatedly.
Yeah.
I would have to like fight against it since we do get. Is this the one with the gnarly helicopter bicep flex, or is that Civil War?
No, that's Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah. Jesus. Nope. Man, he's fast. And they are all over him. Like, huh? They deployed the second he stopped, man. Like, it's like, okay, all floors just converge on Captain America right now.
Everybody go get on the elevator. But then again, you have to think this too, that they probably prepped a lot of those dudes thinking that the first round of guys would have probably gotten them.
Yep. Damn.
But that would have hurt so bad.
Even with the vibranium, man, like that you could hear that it absorbed most of the blow. Like, damn.
Oh God, this is such a cool sequence. This was like one of those moments too in the movie where I was like, man, this movie's awesome. And this really was just like, damn, Captain America's super badass. I don't even have anything to say during it. I'm just like,
yeah, I know, but it's like, it's just like, holy crap! I didn't know Captain America kicked so much ass.
Right? Oof.
And he's look at. I love that he's not only charging a machine gun and on a plane with nothing but a shield, but he actually manages to take it out single-handedly.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah, and he fucks this jet up, dude.
Right?
You know what I mean?
That's a couple mil out of your paycheck.
And sticks the landing.
10 out of 10 from the judges.
So badass. I love that he stayed around to look.
Yeah. Who says cool guys never look from explosions?
Right? They only do that. Yeah, it does have that enemy of the state vibe happening.
A little bit, yeah. So if Captain America is given these guys as hard of a time as he is, God, can you imagine what he would do in today America?
No, I can't really.
I'll tell you what, he can walk up to the White House any day, please.
Can you imagine?
I will.
Can you imagine?
I can only imagine for now.
Right.
And I also love that he's part of the the universal Marvel hero disguise. Just
a hoodie
and sweatpants.
You know what's even funnier about that is that literally he wore almost that outfit earlier to the Cap exhibit, and somebody recognized him when he was in disguise. And you'd think that moment, that's like one of those funny character moments where I was like, oh, I wonder if that's intentional, that Cap's like a little bit of a dipshit, because you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
he's a good guy, but he's like like an athlete where you're like, oh, you're sweet and nice and talented, but just I can tell that I was fat, and so I had to develop more brain.
He killed Kennedy.
He did.
You know, that brings up something, and it is actually genuinely frightening how relevant the themes of this movie is nowadays, because I think I was just reading, because for many years, like not as like the tinfoil hat wearers or anything like that, but I remember like watching JFK in high school for the first time, and I really started questioning what's really real in America and what isn't. Like I just wanted to figure out what the hell is going on with this world, and is there like this weird shadow cabinet thing going on? Because it feels when you really like lay out a pattern, you kind of see something there. And and what's really weird is like after like just looking at the news recently, I kind of think I figured it out, Like, sort of like how Hydra's been growing as a beautiful parasite inside of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, right.
The Confederate States of America have been slowly growing in America for the last century. Like, I don't mean to get, overly political in the middle of our fun, dumb Marvel movie,
you're like, well,
but
it is Captain America, so of all of them, I guess this is the most tolerable moment.
yeah.
This is my cameo scene coming up, by the way.
Yes. You're not cameo.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it just really made me a little bit scared because, like, the Confederate idealism is finally showing its face. And when you think about what their ideals have been for the past century, they are they have been kind of slowly shaping to where we are now, which is
A little scary, isn't it?
yeah, I don't like it.
Uh-oh, the cops are coming to the Apple Store. Art imitates reality.
Oh my god, like
People are protesting the new update to Mac OS X.
someone's illegally using a Mac. Quick, deploy the shield agents.
Well,
We got
and
you,
I love
Jet.
that they made this tech to be untraceable, and the first thing that happens is it's totally traceable. Yeah, look at him there. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts until I remember his name.
I
He's great
know.
too. There were three of them. It was him, Donald Glover, and another guy. Oh,
Huh?
New Jersey.
that dude, that's totally would have been your bit part.
That's like totally the role I'd get to read for at the very least.
Absolutely, dude.
That's so funny.
They would have given it to you. Come on.
I think I'm getting close to that point.
Well, the thing is, like, you totally have the same glasses.
Yeah, that is a good point. I'm like, no, I like legitimately. It would have been funny if they just put me in them already. You know what I mean? But like in a different color,
Exactly.
like same glasses, dude.
Yep, exactly. And you probably get a free extra pair of glasses thanks to the mouse.
Yeah. This guy is all like, I'm very angry in the Apple Store.
That's so Jason Bourne.
This is how you can tell this is Cleveland because there's still a Hard Rock Cafe in a mall. LA never let that shit happen.
I love this.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Good cover.
And I love that he did kind of watch it, but was mad.
Yeah.
As I knock my pop filter off here. Hell yeah, my birth date showing up in a Marvel movie for the first time.
Oh,
All
really?
right. That's really.
You're a Jersey boy, huh?
I am, dude.
Right on. I've got a friend of mine who said he will never, for as long as he lives, return to New Jersey. He has
Why?
I can't tell you because it's a 2.5 hour long ordeal of a story.
That's a whole different podcast.
I know. I got to have him like just come on and tell that story because it's so insane. It's like the worst week of bad luck you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Sorry, I got stuck in this.
No, it's cool, man. Like,
kind of cute.
I do love this. Like,
Where he's just like, listen, I'm not into Tinder. I'm really trying to find a real relationship. There is this funny thing when I watch this too about Cap's attachment with women. Now, the difference here and the joke I'm about to make is that, the woman he was interested liked him back.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in a lot of cards, Cap always reminds me of these dudes I grew up with who were like, I don't want to date. I want to find my mate. And I always thought it was so funny when they would like meet people be like, and I was just like, you guys are like unfuckable weirdos. Why are you being this way about any human that's showing interest in you?
But I do love the fact that their relationship is like peak work buddies.
Yeah, like they are. It's a beautiful example of this is like one of those times where I want to show those like incel-y type dudes where I'm like, look, you can be friends with a woman that is platonic. That's totally a thing.
Camp
You know what I mean?
high.
And it doesn't have to be some weird sexual exchange.
Yeah.
Now they might lose their minds a little bit briefly in the kiss.
Yes. little bit.
But they're going to lose their minds anyway. So.
But hey, you know what? I think of it as like, it's that desperate escape attempt, but it's also the equivalent of a stupid drunken kiss at like a New Year's party.
I just imagine it being like you had to kiss your bro for a dare. That's where I'm pushing this one. All right, dude, now lick his ass. You know. That was always good. This is a good little moment here too.
Yeah, where the little flashback. Okay, so no lie, when I saw this for the first time, I was like, God damn it, I really wish Marvel had contacted me like, hey, we need our sign back and we need to put it in the movie. And I'm like,
can we borrow it?
Oh, hell yeah, I would have said, hell yeah, you can borrow it. Just give it back to me with a certificate of authenticity that this motherfucker's been in 2 movies now.
Yeah, right. Here's a picture of Chris Evans taking a selfie with it.
Right? That would have been, oh, dude. And
this whole sequence is another one of those weird moments, by the way. This is one I was talking about before the show for all of you listeners out there.
Yeah, the underground shield bunker.
And they do such a good job of, one of the things I think that doesn't get talked about enough in the Marvel movies is like, I know I was sort of giving the Shield Triskelion lobby shit earlier, but they nail all of the period stuff.
Yes.
It's kind of funny to me because like the modern stuff in the Marvel universe is kind of bland and very like whatever. But then whenever they do this, where this is supposed to be an older place, it's cool, super cool looking.
It's got so much more character to it.
Yeah, for sure. And the lighting's different. It's like, so you were talking about some of like the cinematography and some of the scenes, and you're like, well, I'd love this. The one thing I wish would be cooler in Marvel movies is the lighting.
Yeah, because
they're usually just, for the most part, it's like sitcom lighting. It's like high key, or you know what I mean? It's like high across the board. Everybody's like lit about the same.
Yeah, it's very monochromatic.
Right.
In that retrospect, and it's very
again another reason I got so high on Legion is because it is
lit.
Dude. You got to watch that show, Tim. Like, for real, you should watch it.
I should.
And like I said, it's a Marvel property. It's not tied into the MCU. It's about, do you know who Legion is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. I figured, but I just want to make sure. I don't want to spoil it for the audience because the show does a really good job of
building the mystery and shit like that.
Exact. Well, yeah, because the thing is, it like definitely comes into play by the end of the series. It's only like 3 seasons long, but it's great. Oh, man. So when this scene happens in the movie theaters, I was so excited in general because, like you said, of Arnim Zola earlier. I thought that was like one of those really cool, weird things where I was like, oh, we're definitely going to start seeing some of the more Jack Kirby-inspired shit show up in these movies, which at this point I was sort of like, okay, I'm sure they're going to just start playing it a little too safe at times.
Yeah.
And then I really loved the shit out of this.
Oh, dude, the fact that it's all retro gear, too.
Yeah.
The fact
that
it
just looks so cool.
Yeah, like it you know what it actually made me flash back to in a good way though?
Yeah.
Terminator 3.
Oh yeah, because that's the best part of the whole movie.
The end. Why was it the best part? It was the ending. Oh,
no, I did think that I thought the reveal of the end of that movie was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Dude, I love this sequence so much. I love the set of this sequence. I love the way it's shot. It's mostly cool. You can see them in the reflections there.
Yep. And we have this really cool little War Games reference. And
exactly.
Even she's to the point where she's like, it's from a movie. You know, he's like, yeah, I know. I like kept.
Oh, I actually saw that one. Yeah,
I understood that
reference. It's like a nice little callback to his it's almost like a callback to that's a reference I get. But I love that they open Arnim Zola here into like, an ASCII text thing.
I mean, because they were never really going to get away with like the box and the arm, the TV with the arms and legs. But this was such a weird way to go, but it's so scary because it's like I said, like this is the infiltration of Hydra underground for, the better part of 70 years.
Oh yeah. Well, and think about this too. I one of the things I love so much about this is how this is sort of an unwinnable scenario too.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, oh no, everything's about to go to hell, Mr. Bond. It's very Bond here.
It is a little bit Bond.
Because
he
monologues and then they're like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to go there. And he's like, well, actually, I already set off an explosive at the beginning of this conversation and you're going to die in the next 4 seconds. Good luck, Mr. Bond.
Bye.
And then, right, exactly. And then the play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so great.
yeah, there's a name drop of Operation Paperclip, an
Again, yeah,
actual
yeah.
an actual operation in the U.S. Army that recruited the fallout of the Nazi scientists and
Right, like Werner
engineers.
von Braun and stuff.
Yep.
Build our rockets.
All right, seriously, this part scares me so much because I actually feel like this might be happening right now. It's just not an old Nazi engineering cult. It's it may actually be, at least from my point of view, the Confederate Army, the Confederate United States of America. Because I see a lot, because from what they've been describing, I see a lot of influence in it and how it's been so subliminally ingrained into our culture. Uh, and now they're here to take over. I'm just so glad that that the Confederates are historically more inept than, say, your average movie villain would be.
Yeah, no, sorry, I keep doing that thing.
No,
Here.
you're
I'm like,
cool.
oh, sorry, went back to the movie for a minute. Yeah, because I love this little montage sequence to it. It's well done, and I see what you mean too.
It's scary because, like, even the Russo brothers were tapping into things like, drone wars and you know surveillance and drone execution and things
Oh,
like
well, you
that.
get like a little of that. You get a little of that Patriot Act. You get some of like the Obama
Yeah.
administration in there, not, not enjoyment of, but heavy use of drone strikes and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, it's nice that it has those little bits, which makes sense for a character like Captain America, who obviously is going to deal with way more like political things
Military.
outside of maybe Iron Man, because he's kind of this interesting warrior who is also anti-war.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh shit.
I'm afraid I have been stalling. Here, hide in this grate.
now so basically that means Arnim Zola's dead now.
Right, which is sort of a bummer.
Yeah, it is. I was always kind of hoping like there was a backup drive somewhere else.
Well, and there might still be, you know what I mean? I've been backed up on another office that looks curiously similar to the last one. I keep thinking of in these moments. Ah, damn, nope, never mind. Lost the train of thought. Moving on.
It's cool.
You know, what's funny about this is I keep thinking, I was like, wow, there's still a lot of movie left to go because we still got to get Sam in
Yeah,
on this.
we're only an hour and let's see, an hour 57, 58. We are an hour 7 into the movie,
Wow.
which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
How long is the movie itself?
I think the whole thing is 2 hours and 15 minutes. So,
Oh, okay.
like,
So yeah, we're just
we're
like
about
at the
halfway there.
point.
Yeah, which actually can. Actually, all things considered, this is a really good halfway point, because like, shit just got down.
Right.
Looking for any survivors. No survivors. Or are there?
Can you imagine it leaving that to find a footprint?
I know, right?
This was a great scene. I remember this was one of those big shocking moments for me.
Yeah, when you're like, oh shit, and then you're like, you're not that surprised that Robert Redford's the villain. I mean, the trailers kind of made him out to be one, but
Right.
oh, dude, I love that the wide shot where you can see all,
Everybody,
yeah,
man.
where you can see the separation and just how close that poor nurse was to the edge.
Right. And doesn't he have like all Newman's own products in here, by the way? Which I thought
Yeah.
was like kind of a funny little nod.
Yeah, that was a lovely little thing to Paul Newman. Oh, we miss you, Paul.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
Yeah. Shouldn't have come back in.
Oh. And that's where we got, like, probably one of our... Outside of Loki, we actually kind of got a really cool villain.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because, I mean, you know, with the Marvel movies, they're either okay or just passable, you know? Like, they're not, like, truly great screen villains that we'll be quoting and remembering, you know, 30 years from now. But he's pretty damn close to near the top tier of the Marvel villains, I think.
So true. I love that Sam like
I know.
this glass door window.
Just
Anybody out there?
I do love this framing where he's actually looking into a mirror.
And like, Chris, can you turn around real quick?
Yeah. That's America's ass.
Yeah, right. And yeah, he's only speaking in Marvin Gaye song titles.
Wah, 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 I can feel.
Well, I think you just said what's going on, right?
Well, no, I was thinking of Let's Get It On.
Let's get it on.
Well, I mean, look at Cap, man. Like, come on. Like, tell me.
Remember,
you
this is
wouldn't.
all platonic.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about in terms of, you know, him and Black Widow. I'm just talking about Cap in a tank top.
Oh, yeah, I would now. Like,
Such
we're
a-
best friends.
Such a good character. Such a good dude.
I love that, like, one of his superpowers is integrity.
Right? You know, kind of in the same way that, as you mentioned before, Superman's.
Exactly.
Yeah, do you superhumans actually, like, eat?
Yeah, all fake food. He's
Sure.
100% something silly.
Oh, snap.
I'm pouring myself a water muted.
Oh, and now this part here where we finally get to see a little, just an inkling of what's to come. The Falcon suit. But you know what's actually funny though? Anthony Mackie, he was actually hoping to go full spandex for this role. Like he was a little disappointed when he found out it was just going to be wings.
Well, I love that they've kind of, each movie, he gets a slightly better version of his costume.
Yeah, yeah.
And it gets a little more colorful each time, because I think is it Civil War, he's got a little red in there.
Yep.
He's got the little, the Falcon sidekick.
The little red bird thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what its name was in the comic, but it was an actual falcon in the comic books, right?
Yep, yep. Although what I really miss is that they're like, this is, you know, all secure behind like 12-inch steel door and guarded and whatnot.
Right.
Why don't they show that heist of them getting it? I guess the whole reason why is because the Russos are like, that kind of slows up the movie. Which
yeah, that's a good point, because the more important thing here, it's like they probably had to do the thing. It's like, do we have room for both this scene here?
Yeah.
And do we have room for this scene here and for the
big
what am I thinking
climax. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you have to kind of look at the roller coaster of the plot, right? Right.
yep.
Where probably another action sequence after the last one would be one too many.
Yep.
But this scene here, I remember going,
dude,
shit, when
like
that happened.
Like,
And I'm
Gary
like, fucking Gary Shandling got to say, "Hail Hydra!"
Hydra, right.
Oh my God, Larry Sanders is part of fucking Hydra.
I know, like the whole like the bitchy senator from Iron Man 2. He's a Hydra. Holy
Right.
shit! That was such a cool little moment, though.
It's a great payoff too, because now there's like an extra layer to his hate of Stark,
Yep.
so that you probably get this idea where he probably did tolerate him.
Yep.
But
again, I feel like a lot of influence came from like not so much like the look or the way of filming, but the feelings of threat in the Jason Bourne movies. You know?
Sure.
And I do love this line.
Dude, I'm gonna do that to somebody one day, but I'm just gonna do it with like regular clothes. Be like, "Cause the shirt you're wearing today looks really expensive." You know what I mean? Like, oh, cause the shirt you've got on right now looks really nice on you. And they'd be like, "What?" And then I'm gonna play on two levels where they'd be like, "Thank you, but also that's creepy."
I just get like a laser pen.
Do you feel comfortable? Right? I wouldn't even go up in person. I would just call them from my house.
There you go.
Like, I won't, I'm
Okay,
not
I
gonna
see what you
commit to the
mean.
bit. I'm just gonna fuck with people. I'm just gonna be like, "Hey Tim, how's it going? You feel safe right now?" You're like, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, "Oh, you know,
Oh
nothing.
shit.
I just thought it was interesting that you're wearing those glasses today." Silence. Yeah, this is great. I love the little callback to the joke there. Yeah,
And then we get the Falcon.
yeah. What a great reveal, and I
Bitches.
love the shadow of him flying over.
Fuck yeah, man.
And he's like, "It's a backpack and a t-shirt." Here we go, Stephen Strange.
Yep. Yep, there it is.
Who's the valedictorian in an Iowa City?
I have no
Like, what-
idea, but a lot of people have speculated the TV Cairo or the TV anchor in Cairo is actually Moon Knight.
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot about him. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I have that the Iowa City. I have no idea. I honestly don't know. It could
I
be
mean, it's
anyone.
probably just other throwaway dialogue then.
Yeah,
but I
this
just figured
is-
I would check.
You know, now that I think about it, like when right after this came out, and I think right before like Avengers 2 or like Phase 3 was on the verge of coming out, I remember going to this movie more than any other of the Marvel movies, hunting for Easter eggs.
Nice.
Specifically, like when it shows Shield's target or Hydra's targets on the helicarriers. Like when it shows all the different targets all around, you can actually see their names and you can pause and you're like, "Ooh, are there any little references in there?"
For sure. Yeah, like I said earlier, this is like the first time they kind of they really dove into it, right? Because at this point, they know the audience is on board for it.
Yeah.
Because Avengers was like, yeah,
God.
gnarly.
Dude,
But they were like, the Avengers was like, can we be weird at all? And the audience unequivocally said yes.
yeah.
So they were like, okay, and this is so badass too, where he stops with his hand.
Oh.
That's how cool Colossus's arms should look.
Well, I mean, they did look pretty fucking cool in Deadpool.
That's a good point.
Oh shit. Man, Falcon, I really hope you got insurance.
Yeah, right?
That's okay. He probably is good. Also, you notice that
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. Where he just takes the wheel. But you
Yeah.
notice pretty much all our Marvel characters drive Chevys in this movie.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder what they paid for that.
Modestly,
Everybody,
well,
hold
I'm
on.
sure. Jesus.
And then there was just that one quick cut of them pushing out of the car. That's like the only bad effect in this whole movie.
Yeah, but either way, you forgive it because it's so fast.
It's so cool. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
This fight here is underrated in the Marvel Universe too, where Cap gets his ass handed to him repeatedly.
Fuck.
Like, and his hit inside the van there is really like he hits his shoulder on the bus entry there. Holy shit.
So you mentioned Colossus and in Deadpool. There's a little bit of a Deadpool thing going on right here. There's another dudes with assault rifles shooting on an overpass.
Yeah, good point.
I guess Marvel just really loves to rip on itself, even when it's not coming from the mouse.
Oh, for sure. They definitely want to try all that.
Also, really do love the Winter Soldier's theme, like that crazy guitar riff that they have, just that sound. Oh shit.
Ooh.
Oh, you done fucked up now.
See, he's just COVID compliant.
He is, isn't he, dude? He's wearing his
Yeah.
mask. He's wearing his fucking mask. That's good.
This is a great. This action scene is really underrated.
Oh, dude, like, and especially
And she
with
does
the
so much cool stuff.
I just kind of wish that they had the same, because I know that the Russo brothers looked at Michael Mann's Heat as an inspiration, but I really wish that they went with the same level of sound design as Heat, because when you hear the gunshots from Heat, that's actual location sound where the gunshots bounce off the walls in horrifically realistic ways. Kind of wish that they did the same thing here, but since it's a pulpy action movie, I see why they went with that, and because they brought in this guy. They brought in a fucking minigun.
Yeah, it sounds like what's his name's gun from Predator.
Oh god, what is
Jesse Ventura's?
I forget his I forget his name. What was it? The monster, the beast, or
yeah,
some
I can't
shit
remember.
like that.
Yeah,
I forget the name, but yeah, that's what I was totally thinking. Like, oh my god, they got the minigun from Predator and Terminator 2. Hell yeah! As a matter of fact, because as a sound designer, I can hear it. It's the same sound that they use for the minigun for Arnold in Terminator 2.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm really big into sound design and Hollywood gun effects, so I have like a small collection on my hard drive that I use for whenever I want to do an action movie, whenever the hell I can. I've always wanted to do
that's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I've always wanted to do an action movie.
You should just do an action sequence, and then that'll get people to back you on a bigger one.
Yeah, there you go.
You just got to do a short one.
Just do
Seriously.
Go Wachowskis on it, where they just filmed the opening sequence of The Matrix, blew all their money on it, and they're like, okay, give us the rest of the money so we can actually make the rest of it.
Yeah, right?
Oh, man, dude. Sebastian Stan also really knows how to bring the menace in those eyes.
Yeah, it's funny because I'd never really seen him in too much before this.
I know he really got into it because I know like in his public appearances, everyone kind of calls him that goofy fuck.
Really?
Like he's actually kind of like a real goofy dude in real life. But so when you know that, you're like, holy shit, he knows how to bring the contrast.
For sure.
Oh, you just gonna come in here and disable my arm?
Yeah, right?
Oh, hell nah.
I love the swinging around, cock the arm thing.
Yeah, dude.
Kind of reminds me of Henry Cavill in the last Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah. Good shit.
The gun noise on his biceps, that was so funny.
Right. Fuck yeah. Dude, the martial arts in this sequence is intense.
Yeah, it's really great.
I actually, I think, one of my friends, big Marvel guy, been watching these things, like even the bad ones back in the day. He was just like thrown back at just how visceral and violent these action sequences were. Like,
oh yeah,
you can feel every punch and kick. Like, damn,
Well,
look
I
at him
love
work
that
with the knife, man.
yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, he does a lot of good kick moves in this.
Yeah, I think that's why Mr. Stark said to go for his legs.
That's great. Man. I love watching these scenes, and again, I love that a lot of this is shot pretty wide.
Yes.
And it's a lot of it is handheld, but it's also like definitely on some sort of at least basic ish.
Yeah.
I'm assuming like some sort of shoulder rig or something that it kind of balances it out a little bit, so it's not like 100% handheld where it's absolutely unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep thinking about, oh man, what a reveal.
I know, right?
But this was funny too. This is the only thing I had a problem with in this movie compared to the last one, is I feel like they didn't do a great job, I think, establishing. They did good with Bucky, but I felt like he was too unrecognizable here, if that makes sense.
It's the hair, isn't it?
I think so. And the only reason I say that is when I went to see it, everyone I was with, a couple of the people were like big Marvel nerds and had been watching these movies pretty religiously. Were like, who's that? I was like, that's the guy from the first movie. That's Bucky. That's his buddy. And they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is he a
I can
different
see.
actor? I'm like,
I can see how that was. Well, I mean, they did try to like even
For sure.
gauge people who haven't seen it with that scene in the Smithsonian. Like I think that was literally the
right,
only.
yeah, because they do a bunch of thing about his setup.
Yeah,
Maybe they should have added a little more on that.
like
I
one
don't know.
more really good flashback, but I get it, pacing issues, things like that. It tends to
Sure.
really eat into your budget and time. But yeah, I think actually I was like, oh man, how I remember when they announced that it was going to be called the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this sucks because I know exactly what's going to happen going in. Like, I know who the Winter
Right.
Soldier is. This is how are you going to make this interesting? And I'll be
Yeah.
fucking damned if they made it really interesting.
So crazy. This was a great reveal too.
Oh yeah, with Maria Hill. Ah, damn. Zap. That brings up another thing that I really wish that these movies addressed a little bit more, and just other, big time superhero movies. Why don't they ever address the cosplay issues that you
What
would...
do you mean by that?
Well, like, okay, so a great example is Ant-Man and Iron Man. Both their helmets flip up and flip down with quick precision.
Sure.
How come their shit never, like, how come his helmet never gets caught on his lip or gets stuck in his hair or smacks him in the nose in the wrong way? Like, has that ever happened to Iron Man where, like, his helmet just, like, went down, but his, like, hair was caught in it?
That's funny.
Like, I wish that they would do like little cosplay issues like that, like where shit pinches in places you can't quite describe.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think if anybody would have mentioned that stuff would be Stark,
Yeah.
but they're probably just like too much. Should have been a great scene in the first Iron Man when he was first suiting up. Like, all right, got to trim my hair in a few spots.
Yeah. I'm not
Oh,
dead.
there's what's his name, Russo. That was one of the Russo brothers right there, holding her shoulder.
Oh yeah, I see.
I don't know. I know Anthony and Joe are the names. I just don't know which one is which visually. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Russo brothers. Please don't let this harm you from casting me in your next thing.
Yeah, no kid. I would.
Maybe
kill
that's my end to be an Avenger for real.
Maybe.
They shoot stuff up here all the time. I should have gone at the time. I don't think they had any roles they were casting for, but they shot their last movie in Cleveland.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I saw trailers for it at the beginning of Endgame with Michael
Tom
B.
Holland.
Jordan.
Right?
Yeah.
And Tom Holland, isn't he in it too?
I think so. I do remember Anthony Mackie and what's his name? Frank Grillo. I know
That's
they're
funny
both in
that's
it.
like their same. They're like, yeah, we like all of you guys.
Yeah. Crap.
Pulling up the IMDb so I can make sure I'm not an idiot. Yeah, Tom Holland, Thomas Lennon, like you said. Actually, funny enough, I don't see Michael B. Jordan in this.
Really? I could have sworn. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Uh-oh. This is how we find out you're racist. I see Tom Holland. I really don't see too many recognizable names in this. Too funny. Anyway, sorry, distracted.
No,
this
it's
is a
cool.
very cool set too, where they're like in a bank vault that's where they do Bucky stuff.
Yeah. And I also love how dehumanizing Bucky is, where he's just like, mission report now. Like, he's just a piece of equipment. He's a fucking robot.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
I love the part where his arm is there. I never understood why he has the fake arm necessarily. I don't remember.
It's literally a
why.
comics thing. Like,
Okay.
I
They're just
think
like, it looks cool.
it's like, look, if we're gonna do Winter Soldier, we got to give him the arm. Like, that's the thing. I forget what it was in the comics exactly, But I just know that they're like, look, we just gotta do. We'll just say he got injured on the way down. Like that's cool. Uh, specifically, I have no idea why.
Sure.
It's one of those moments where like, shut up. It sounds cool.
It does sound cool though. Talking about freedom, are we, Alexander
Yeah,
Pierce?
freedom.
I'll show you
right.
some freedom. I get you freedom right here.
Okay, now this part really like made me kind of
bow
cringe.
tie guys.
Well, this part kind of made me cringe, where they sit him back,
Yeah.
but automatically he just opens his mouth, like again, like he's so like he's so far gone that he knows what's up.
Yeah, it's like he knows what they're about to do, and he's like, "Yep, this is what life is." By the way, I also love how he looks kind of Weapon X-y there.
A little bit, you're right.
I always got that vibe a little bit because you get the one eye covered. You know,
Yep.
little nod to Wolverine.
I love that line.
Oh my gosh, computer chips. Tiny little computer chips.
It's
You
Skynet.
know, that we could have used earlier for the thumb drive.
Right? Like, okay, so a lot of like I know there's like there are surprisingly few plot holes in this movie.
Sure.
But
it's all just like, it's more like movie bullshit, right? Where it's like,
yeah.
oh, your tech only occasionally is traceable in this movie when it needs to be for the plot. But that's just movie shit, right?
Yeah. But I think the Russo brothers were. I think when they were like, "Oh God, we got to honest trailer proof this thing," they were like, "Okay, the fact is, this movie only takes place in the course of like 3 days, so they simply just didn't have time to get all the assets, like say, calling all of the Avengers."
You know, in general, I feel like I hate that everyone's like, why don't they just call the Avengers? I'm like, dude, because these guys they're all. I feel like the whole point of the Avengers is that we're like, well, occasionally we need to team up. Like, that's sort of the story. It's like, oh, we can work together. That's cool. Well, see you later next time there's a huge threat. And then.
See, I think it's the fact that, the Avengers didn't assemble when, Iron Man was being threatened by a very real terrorist that was coming
Sure.
to destroy America. Then we have Hydra with infiltrating Shield, also trying to take over the world. And then but when there might be a Hydra base somewhere deep in the forest, all the Avengers go up into their business, and it's like that's the logic where people have. But I just like to point out that, dude, they didn't even know that Hydra was still even a thing until this movie. And now that Steve Rogers has had the time to breathe, he's like, hey, Avengers, we got to fight whatever's left of the Shield. Let's go get them.
Yeah.
And whereas Tony Stark, well, he was just kind of blown. That was just kind of thrown right at him. And plus, Thor was off-world, and God knows where Banner was, but who cares? Right. But oh yeah, speaking of
another flashback,
like we were like, oh shit, we wish we had another flashback so we can recognize him. Here it is.
Imagine if they had done this scene earlier, though.
Yeah, but it does fit.
It does fit here for sure. Don't get me wrong, but like, imagine if we had maybe a part of that scene in the scene where he's reminiscing about Bucky.
In the Smithsonian, yeah.
Exactly. Or maybe just another quick cutaway of any other moment of their relationship, even if it's just a toss to a scene from Cap 1.
Yeah.
Would have been nice.
Mm-hmm,
I do like how many bridges are in this movie. There's a lot of Cap on bridges in this.
Oh, fucking love this. And here
This
he
made
is.
me so happy because I love the stealth suit and everything. Oh, here's our boy,
Yeah.
Stanathan Lee.
Don't worry, Stan. You'll be doing this for just a few more years. And yeah, we got our Cap suit back, the OG Cap suit.
That suit looks so good, and it was almost like, it's funny them doing that felt like such an FU to everybody that had done that, commented on how bad the first Avengers suit is.
Fuck
which
them!
I can't
Are
imagine.
you kidding me?
I legitimately don't understand how they thought they could get away with the look of that
I
suit.
know, seriously, because like when I saw the photo stills of the first Avenger costume, I'm like, oh shit, that is cool. They're doing the wings on the side of his head, but they're painted like old World War II paint that they did on their helmets, like
For
like
sure. Such a good idea.
The clover, like that's brilliant. Brilliant,
Right.
and the fact that the stripes on his stomach are actually functional straps, I'm like, dude, like
Yeah, there's a lot of great. Again, I bet Joe Johnston designed that suit. I guarantee he designed that suit.
he definitely had huge things into it.
For sure.
huge-
Danny Putty from
Yeah.
the Russo brothers, where they got their start. What was their
Yep.
show? Community.
Yes, that's right.
There's a lot of Community
Yeah,
people in their
lot of
Marvel
them.
movies too. Like what's her name in Endgame? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember the names, but I totally know what you're talking about, and they're
Right.
all, and I'm sure they're all wonderful people, super happy to be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, can you imagine? Can you imagine being like, all right, we need someone for the Asian delegation. Hey, you think we can get that guy from the Dark Knight?
Dude, I don't care if I'm just there to carry a bucket of water. I am.
Right, you're that guy on the
there.
left with the briefcase there. You're like, up, stand, and look at the ceiling like you're listening to a PA address. Wow.
Dude, I don't even have to be in camera. Just the fact that I get to work on one, oh, that'd be fucking amazing.
Well, start kissing those asses for PA stuff, dude. Just start doing. I'm telling you, it'll all come around. That's
Yeah,
how my life worked out.
Yeah, as soon as
Go do your little short action scene, right? Like a 2-pager.
There you
Shoot
go.
something clever and get it out there, and then get people to back you up. Be like, this is what I can do.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, it'll change your life, bro.
Yeah,
You got the time right now.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, I mean, I can't find a job right now. Considering
That's what I'm saying. So you
yeah.
got so I'm telling you, got to build your own empire. I believe in you, Tim. This is my moment of inspiration for the show.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Look at this. This is these are the federal government forces getting sent out to cities around the country right now
Oh,
to
fuck.
handle people protesting.
Yep. It's all Hydra's fault. That's what's going on in our world today.
That just gave me an idea of what I need to cut together with this scene when we're done.
Oh my God, you're total. I see where you're going with this, with Cap's speech here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, come on, it's Cap. It's off the top of his head. He knows what's up. He's
For
like
sure
the
he
master of that shit, man.
Classic Cap.
Oh, snap. I do love this like mousy little intern that Frank Grillo just totally intimidates.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's just like, I will put a bullet in your head, you soft little bitch.
Although I almost wish that they had the guts to go full Air Force One. You remember that really great scene where they're taking over the cockpit, and the pilots are like, "Whatever happens, you land this aircraft. Is that understood, gentlemen?" And when they break in, they literally just say no, and they get shot, and blood comes out of the wound. Can you imagine how fucking amazing if they actually had the balls to do that?
Oh, for sure.
That would have been amazing.
For sure. Damn. I love this scene. And she's like, all right, I'll get shot at. I got this.
Standoff time. Oh, God. That was actually a really good
Kicks the
catch.
seat away. Yeah. Everybody's a terrible shot here.
I know,
Literally,
right?
no one got shot in that room.
Jeez, what the hell were all those the years of training for, man? Like, come
Right.
on.
Great water effects there, by the way.
Yeah.
Silly thing to maybe notice, but I would have really liked to see this thing, like the helicarrier shoot some stuff. That was like one of the only little like minor.
Yeah, that we
letdowns
didn't
here.
actually get to really. I mean, they do shoot each other, but
But you know what I mean. It would have been it would have been kind of cool to see it go kind of wrong at least briefly, because they were almost there. We almost get it. Cap saves the day. And
well,
everything,
there
but
might
I always love those moments where you get like a little bit of like, oh no, this shit's for real.
there might be something in the future, because as you remember from like the ending of Far From Home, like they kind of tease space. Like Nick Fury's been out in space with all these ships and whatnot,
Right.
with the Krulls. Maybe there's going to be a space version of the helicarrier with
That'd be
these
wild.
weapons.
Well, yeah, wouldn't Sword have one of those? Isn't that what they're
I guess so.
what do they call it? The Lance or whatever. Their big shit. They have like the space helicarrier pretty much. I keep waiting for Sword to get introduced. But I also kind of wonder now if that's where Nick Fury was with the Skrull in the first place.
Probably. I would.
That could have been a cool little. Well, and they could just retcon it at each other, like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
that was the beginning of Sword.
They only showed you the one little bit, so it's open. And that's what they're really clever about, is leaving just enough open to be like, okay, what do we choose it as?
Yeah, for sure.
Jesus Christ.
I love he's just dictating like voice messages here.
Yep.
Oh, Renata, I'm gonna have to shoot you again.
All with a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
Got to have that level of Bond villain class.
Yeah, where he's
Nope.
like, I'm classy and I'm unfazed by all of the craziness right now.
The only thing that he's missing is a giant chair with a frickin' joystick.
Oh, for sure. That's so funny.
And sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
That's too funny.
Oh, snap. What? This lady knows martial arts? Kind of in a Black Widow way?
Yeah, right. It has Black Widow hair, kind of.
Oh, look, it's the Mission Impossible mask, but not the Mission Impossible mask.
Right, and and also they didn't even do anything. It was probably just like a morph cut kind of
Yeah.
thing where she moved her interface.
Yep, that's literally her just taking off a green screen mesh.
That's so funny. Oh shit.
Although you would think that they probably would have used that earlier in the movie, but I guess it wasn't until Nick Fury actually got attacked they're like, oh shit, something's going down.
It always made me think of Hank McCoy's image transducers from the X-Men comics, where he would be like, I'm a human now. I could walk out in public.
Yeah.
I just have crazy gorilla-like features.
Or with Nightcrawler as well.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're like, oh, you're just a guy now with a tail.
Or like, hey, Kirk, you're cool and all, but why do you always like hold your two fingers together like you're saluting in Star Trek?
Yeah, exactly. He's like constantly gripping thing. Like it was like huge Ninja Turtles fan. But this whole this is a great action sequence. Everything's cut well. One of the things I really like about the way the Russos shoot action is, and I think it's probably a testament really to both the stunt people on this, but also probably to Chris Evans, who I feel like probably does as much of his action scenes and stunts as they're willing to let him.
Yeah.
And not just Evans, but everybody, because like a lot of the shots are shot pretty wide. There's not a ton of cuts. Like there's a lot of cuts, right? Because it's an action movie, and that's how you drive excitement and speed and shit. But like, you know what I mean? If you're watching those scenes, like all the big jump kicks are all like wide shots, and you can see everything that's going on. And there's like, I feel like there's a pretty decent sense of the overall geography of every location that they've been in so far.
Yes, that's the other thing they're really good at, is maintaining the space and not being disoriented where you don't know where you are.
Right. I also I love that they were like, okay, we got a few of these, and but I always thought it cracked me up, and it always cracks me up in these movies where it's like, I wonder if they really would build in that kind of redundancy where you'd have to put all three chips in.
Yeah.
But you know that as soon as one went in, some alarm went off.
Yeah, you
But
would think that, wouldn't you?
that's what I'm going to do a short one day about the people that just work on the Marvel, like, you know what I mean? Like the grunts that work on the Death Star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just kind of shoot
yeah,
it.
we got something coming in. No. Tractor beam seems fine. We tested it yesterday. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, we got to shoot that like almost Kevin Smith style. Like, I feel like that would totally be the right tone for something like mundane and funny as that.
For sure. Like super simple.
Yeah.
Oh man, Kevin Smith. Pre-weed Kevin Smith, preferably.
I don't mind his post weed. I just wish that he wouldn't work on weed. Like, I saw yoga hosers and I'm like, oh, Kev, dude. Like,
He was one of those dudes when I was 18 I loved. And then
yeah,
it was
did
like,
you see his reboot though?
dude, I watched the trailer and I was just like, oh god. It was that thing where that was a great kill.
Yeah, that was
I had
cool.
that moment with the trailer where I was like, oh, this is twofold. I was cringing because I was like, I don't know that this looks good. And then also I was like, oh, I hate 18-year-old Mark Borson really bad right now. One of the things I wish in tech that would happen is way more of this shit on glass. Imagine how cool smart glass windows like that would be in an office.
There is actually a thing that you can do to do that. It's kind
cool.
well, you have to like, set it up properly and you can't move the thing at all, but it is a fully interactive glass.
That's
and
sweet.
It's based off of the Xbox interactive camera.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So like the Kinect or whatever they called it.
Yep. My fiance's brother is kind of a mad tech genius.
That's so cool.
And he kind of theorized how he would be able to do it. Like, totally he could, and he really wants to. It's just, it would cost like, somewhere between like $1,300 and $2,500. Yeah.
Crazy.
So, but it's cool because Shield has the money. So this is all totally plausible.
Damn. I'm doing like a cursory Google search for smart glass to see if I can find anything cool to share with us. But all I'm finding instead is like the smart glass that does the where it's like clear and then it goes opaque, so you can like
Yeah.
privacy glass. We'll find it in the future.
We will eventually. We'll figure it out. Because
I love that this is all money based here. By the way, he's like, it'll take $20 million. I have the courage not to.
Yeah. Well, I guess I mean they've been saying this many times that this is just a political thriller disguised as a superhero movie. But I do love this moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah. Like
the setup for that eye was like one of the only things I liked about Captain Marvel.
Really? Because I actually thought that was kind of dumb. I'm like,
it's funny. Well, yeah, like I remember thinking the whole movie that I just did not have fun with it. So I think that was like fine. I was like, okay, now I understand this movie right in the last 6 minutes of it.
Yeah. It was all for a setup origin story of Nick Fury's eye.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly would have rather seen that. The way they shot those last couple shots of Cap too are so badass.
Right. And I do love this little banter here.
Like, okay, we're just walking now, right?
I had a big breakfast.
Oh, and that's awesome too.
Oh, dude, like just yank him by the wings, like
yeah.
That's just, as far as superheroes go, that's hitting below the belt.
Yeah. Oof. And I really don't remember how he gets out of this one, but I remember being like, "Oh fuck, dude." Does he have a shoot? Just Oof.
That he should have been
dead.
Yeah.
It's funny how cognizant of a lot of like action things they are in this, and then every so often you'll have like a little moment like that where you're like, I'm dead.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like it's just like okay, that's where you're like you gotta call bullshit on that, but
Yeah,
it's
give me
okay
just a half a second.
because movie, but it's okay because movie. It's
Right,
kind of like
exactly.
when Iron
We're
Man.
nitpicking for the sake of a
Oh yeah,
show. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
But it's like when Iron Man escapes from his cave, and he just lands in the sand after falling like 1,000 feet and
Oh,
plummets
yeah.
into the sand at like 1,000 miles an hour. Like
You're like
he'd be
that
dead.
sand would have been like cement.
Yep. That no, he's dead.
Yeah.
Direct like you just hear thump directed by Jon Favreau.
This set is so cool too.
Right. And you know what's really cool is they actually built a good majority of it. Like
Yeah.
a lot of
I'm willing to bet the whole room is real and it's a keyed in background.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because like, and if you look at the way the grading on the windows is, I almost wonder how much is tweaked on the top half too. Because if you look, it's just sort of like color.
Yeah.
It's great. It's such a cool, and again, one of those cool things about the Marvel movies in general is that there is a lot of special effects, but they really do build a lot of good sets. Whereas I think a lot of other movies would totally fake that.
Yeah.
I love that little flex on the arm too, where
that
it
was
like
cool.
wiggles. Punch me in my shield. Oof.
Yep. I still kind of wish that they wouldn't be. I mean, again, this is like a super minor nitpick, but my only issue is with the editing is they tend to overcut a little bit. Like they have to cut on almost every single hit.
Oh, for sure. And I wonder how much, again, it's like that thing where, because we're watching big budget things, look, we know that this is a lot the Russo brothers' vision, but I guarantee, even though they would never say it because I get it, I love paychecks too.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to be like, my boss doesn't let me do everything I want. But there's got to be a few mandates. Disney, of course, since they own it, there's probably a ton of stuff that they mandate. And I would not be surprised to find out that there is a good amount of stuff where they're like, all right, the action sequences need to be cut like this. We expect an average shot length of this because our marketing team found that audiences only have this long of an attention span, and this is what they need to focus on. What I mean? Like those
exactly.
We
can't. You can't go full Jackie Chan, man.
Right. Here's food for thought. Arnim Zola makes, what's his name here, badass, the Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
But by the way, the Winter Soldier overpowers, outmaneuvers, outperforms Cap almost every time until Cap luckily gets the drop on him. So, does that mean the Arnim Zola version of the Super Soldier, whatever he did for Super Soldier, does that mean he did a better job than Abraham Erskine?
That, when you put it that way,
it's like one of those nerd questions, right? That's
when
a question
you put it that way, that, you know what? You could argue that yes. The answer is yes.
Right?
Oh, I love this. The cut coming up. It's a real Marvel moment.
Yeah. I want to know how much of that fight scene there is. If that was like, if they're like, wouldn't that be cool? We just cut on the first strike.
Yeah.
And if it was one of those, like, all right.
Like instead of having like just like even when you push pause.
Did he shoot him in the ass?
No,
in the leg.
Yeah.
He shot him in America's ass.
Oh, you did not? Oh, hell no, you didn't.
See, Bucky is out here just taking pot. Oh, yeah, it's the back flank. It looked way closer to ass in the previous shot. I call bullshit. Stan Lee would have never let that slide. Jack Kirby shot superheroes in the ass himself.
Mark, are you just like trying to call more attention to Cap's ass?
Dude, all I'm trying to see is America's ass. They do. It is always funny to me though that I would almost argue that there is, at least in the Cap movies, there's always like an equal amount of focus on his ass as there is on Natasha's.
Matthew Ellis. Okay, let's see some of the targets. Michael Linden, whoever that is. I have no idea.
I bet it's all just like PAs and stuff. Eduardo. There's Tony Stark on that
Yep.
one. I thought I saw Betty Ross. There's someone I'd like to see come back to the Marvel universe.
Liv
'cause I like
Tyler,
Liv
right?
Tyler.
Yeah.
And she's just like, did she just quit acting?
I don't know. I think they're
Because she really hasn't done anything since that.
honestly. I think they. Well, in addition, I think that Marvel just kind of silently said, "Yeah, that movie didn't happen." I mean,
Which is
happened.
a bummer too, because I actually it has the same structure as the rest of the movies. There is every so often those moments where I'm like, wait, why are we not forgiving of that movie, but we're forgiving of literally the rest of the franchise?
I know,
because I feel
right?
like they lobby the same complaint. It's kind of my Thor: The Dark World thing, where I'm like,
Actually, you know what I think it is? I think
Yeah.
Disney's just really mad at Edward Norton for like taking over their shit.
sorry, my pop filter just
You're-
you
you're-
can already hear it.
you're
It just
fine.
popped off. I'll speak to the side so I can finish this thought. I love Ed Norton as Hulk. I like that movie a lot. I think they set up a lot of cool stuff. I would love to see Abomination. I'd love to see they set up the leader. I'd love to see
Yeah!
him show up.
Tim
We
Blake
got a
Nelson.
bunch of Thunderbolt Ross.
Yep.
So I'm like, bring back Betty. Doesn't matter. But I guess they wanted to make. I always thought the Natasha Bruce romance didn't really make a ton of sense to me, but it's fine. But
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he had Betty. What's up with Betty?
I don't know, man, but I was like, yeah, when you mentioned the leader, I'm like, fuck, we could have had the leader in the movie because they were setting that shit up, man, with Tim Blake
Yeah,
Nelson. I would have loved to see
and
that.
he's a great actor and an
Oh, yeah,
interesting
dude.
performer in general, and he's a good writer and director himself. So
yeah.
like,
Did you see him
you
on
know, but
Watchmen?
yeah. Oh yeah, dude, wonderful.
Fucking amazing. Like he was.
I think you're right about Marvel being mad at him for Ed Norton.
Yeah, because he totally came in and rewrote the script and credited as himself, but not himself. Like
You know
he
what
was-
sucks too is that he's a good writer, and I bet whatever he wrote was good.
I know, right?
I don't know if you've seen. He was in some roast. I think it was one of the maybe the roast of Bruce Willis or something. But he made a joke about that relatively recently, where he's like, it sucked, and I lost like the biggest role of my career because it was terrible of me to want to make an actually good Hulk movie. But I digress. And I was like, damn. Because apparently they cut like an hour out of that. I know we've totally gotten off off topic here because this is just a big action scene and nobody ever says that. We never have anything that interesting to say over action.
No.
Like, yeah, that's cool. The effects team really killed it here. Speaking of killed it, that was good timing.
I do like his last line, "Hail Hydra."
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being that indoctrinated to anything you believed in?
Nothing that's institutionalized. I believe in more in base ideals that are applicable to all. All that money that they spent on those helicarriers just gone.
Can you imagine? Didn't he say it was like, oh, wait, no, he would have lost way more than that. There's no way that those cost less than hundreds of millions of dollars.
Billions of dollars.
Probably.
I mean, dude, like when you hear about like a like the stealth bombers going down, that's like a $7.5 million piece of equipment.
Can you imagine that?
I mean, you can
Can
only
you imagine being the
what
guy that like has to wreck it? You know
Oh,
what I mean?
jeez, no. Because they're gonna take that out of your pay cut.
For sure.
Fuck. So how the hell did Frank Grillo survive that?
Yeah, and he even makes a joke about it. He's like, yeah, you dropped a building on me at the beginning of Civil War. I always like, yeah, there's a couple of those times where I'm like, again, I'm almost having action overload, and you can kind of tell because we haven't really said as much about these action sequences here, but we're like,
Yes.
did Sam really need to do this part? You know what I mean? He's already, oof.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
did.
that's close and tense. Don't get me wrong. But always funny to me.
Still, that isn't an amazing. It's actually kind of amazing. He just didn't accidentally, like, jump right into the helicopter blades.
Right? Oh, yes. And Samuel L. Jackson there flipping the helicopter just enough.
And I just thinking about the alternate version where where he falls into the helicopter blades, and Sam Jackson just looks at Natasha and just like, no one needs to know.
That's great.
Oh man,
He's
dude,
still like, I love in the face of death. He's still like, I'm gonna kill you, Rogers.
I'm gonna kill you so hard.
Man, seeing all these cool helicarriers though just keeps reminding me. I just picked up recently the Iron Man VR game. They just came out for
Oh,
PlayStation
dude,
VR.
how is it?
It's pretty good. Well, like some levels are way better than others. I would say that I was way more excited before I bought it. Not that it's a bad game or anything like that, but it's definitely kind of a lot of the same thing. Like I think they tried to make too long of a game, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. So
And
like,
by making it like 10, 11 hours, it probably should have been like 4 or 5.
okay,
So it's like a few too many repetitive missions. But dude, like you use the controllers like as Tony's hands, so
that's
you
cool.
fly around by pointing your hands in the direct. You know what I mean? Just like he flies.
Sweet.
And so the controls are awesome. It's really immersive. But
That's cool. Oh,
yeah, again,
he's gotta choose.
Bucky's better
Just
than
kiss,
Cap.
Just kiss, you cowards.
Dude, can you imagine if they shipped them? That would have been great.
Oh, come on. The whole internet ships them.
Yeah, for sure. That's like that's like a part of fan culture I just don't really understand.
I do to an extent. Like, I'm not.
I think I've just never been. I'm very much. I think maybe my love of the creator is too strong. Does that make sense?
No, that makes
Where I'm
perfect
like,
sense.
That's their vision. I'm on board. I might hate some stuff and be like, I'd do it differently. But for whatever reason, emotional relationships, I never get too upset about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off on that.
No, it's okay. Because, like, I just, most of the time I just see it as, ironic camp, if you will. Like, it's
Right.
It's kind of fun and stupid in that way to see just how people prioritize, I guess. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, actually, I just remembered something. So we mentioned that it's awesome that Captain America is back in his old uniform.
Oh yeah.
But dude, he just got shot in it. Do you know how pissed the Smithsonian's gonna be?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's right.
Although, it's actually even funnier though. Now that I just remembered.
He's like a felon.
Well,
now, big for stealing.
Well, I'm also like into. Not only am I into like props but I'm also into costumes because I do cosplay. And I actually found out that the one that he steals from the Smithsonian is actually slightly different than the one from First Avenger. It's not technically the same uniform.
Really?
Yeah. Biggest way
Always
you can
some trick.
Yeah, well, there's the biggest way you can tell is in the I love the fact that he's listened to Marvin Gaye's Trouble Man. Great album, by the way. But the way you can tell on the suit is in the original First Avenger, he's got the striped on his stomach, the straps that make the stripes. There are two in the old one, which are just the two red straps on his stomach. In this one, he actually has a middle red stripe.
Really?
Yeah. Little
I'll
detail.
have to go look for that.
It's a good thing that
Gary Shandling back again, baby.
Yep. It's a good thing his character got arrested because sadly he was never going to be able to show up. He fell in the great 2016 celebrity purge.
That's right. I remember people were mad about that. I had a pretty decently popular video about that where I did this piece that was like 2016 didn't suck, just you did. And I had this whole sequence where I was like, oh, you think a lot of people died this year? Let me look at the last 10 years. I did this like whole sequence.
Yep.
Where I listed all the celebrities that died in the few years. It just felt like popular ones that year.
Honestly, 2016 was, outside of this year, was probably the worst I'd seen for not just me personally.
All kinds of reasons.
But yeah, 2016 sucked. And I honestly thought that was probably going to be the worst. But 2020 just said, hold my beer.
Yeah, for real. This is a great scene. And I also love, by the way, that actor there. I'm pretty sure, is that, let me see who that actor is.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I've seen him in so many other bit parts. Like, I wish I could remember more bit part names, because I feel like that's the more likely person you're wound up to meeting when you're trying to break into the industry, you know?
Yeah. He's definitely just one of those recognizable character actors.
Yep.
You can probably hear me typing. I'm like, American Winter Soldier,
Yes,
IMDb.
trying to,
I love it.
to the almighty...
She just dropped a bomb and walked off, by the way. She got her scene.
Yep. You are consulting the almighty Google.
Yeah. This scene was super badass, too, with Sammy
Right,
J. I love the way
burns.
that shot. It's one of the nicest laid out shots in all the Marvel movies. I think he looks super cool there with the sunglasses on and like a little disheveled.
And the fact that he
Great
burns
work
the
on
eye
that.
patch, man, that was cool. And then, of course, this wonderful, wonderful little Easter egg. The path of the righteous man.
Yeah, right.
Ezekiel 25:17. That was so cool.
I'm trying to find that dude in the cast. It's going to drive me nuts now.
I really wonder if Samuel L. Jackson does like personally carry a replica of Bad Motherfucker wallet.
Wouldn't you?
I mean, well, I'm not that big of a Tarantino fan. Like, I have a real respect for his body of work and who he is. I just can't stand his fan base. I really hate his fans. Because everyone's like, when you go to film school, you always meet that one fucking film student that's like, I'm going to make an homage to this. And I'm like, fuck off, you Tarantino wannabe, and make something your own already.
Yeah. Which, couldn't we lobby that at him?
I know, right?
Nah, I hate to be that guy, too. Because then I feel like that's the other guy that went to film school is like, Tarantino isn't an homage, or is he just a ripoff, or is he just plagiarizing? I'm like, listen, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was great, so... whatever.
Yeah, I won't deny that his movies really are quite fantastic.
No, but I feel the same way, dude. I totally get it. It's like he's like the popular filmmaker for the general audience in a weird way. You know what I mean?
He's Marvel before Marvel.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was like that thing where it's like, oh, the new Tarantino movie. I don't think people talked about Kubrick that way. You know what I mean?
Kubrick had a different layer because his movies had to
too
age.
artsy and cold. Yeah, and all the shit's like really emotionally cold. I feel like that's tough for audiences to hang on to.
Yep. And I love how this right here is the last shot of the movie.
Yeah. So when do we start? It reminds me a little bit of the bit in Avengers 2 where he's just like, Avengers, and
it cuts off.
They do a bunch of those cool cuts. The credit sequence I thought was really cool in this too. I love the use of color and the little
black and white.
Alan Fine, baby.
The real stark black and white, and we have the two
Stark,
sides
you
of the
say,
coin.
Heyo. Yeah, it's great. That's a great movie. Love it. Love to see it. I hope everybody that watched this enjoyed what we had to say. Give us some pointers too, if you want. I don't know.
Yeah,
if Tim
totally.
welcome that. But if you want anything done differently in the future,
well, now that we've like actually seen it, because this is the first time I've watched it in a significantly long time. How's it aged for you?
Oh, I thought it aged great. I'm like kind of doing that thing that I was like, shit, I kind of want to watch this with sound now.
Well, I am watching on sound. The only reason why we
just got it separate.
Yeah, the only reason why we don't have the sound on the actual podcast because we really don't want the mouse being like, "Oh, give us money."
For sure.
I don't have enough of it. I'm just overflowing with money. I'd flip you off if I had a middle finger.
That's so. I mean, I'm looking through the trivia right now. And yeah, there it is. She's so crazy. We changed her face and muscle structure and all those things that happen when you age. That's a great effect.
Yep. Oh
wow.
Love the little computer thing for Toby
Jones. We got
Jones.
a couple post-credit scenes of this one too. Yep. I don't remember which ones are in this.
We got one coming up, and that's the one.
Don't spoil me so that I remember. So I want to have that surprise a little bit.
All right, it's cool. And Robert Redford, man, like that's Mad Men shit right there.
For sure. Anthony Mackie described the film as Avengers 1.5. Here we go, the first one.
Here we go.
Oh, it's dude, Thomas Kretschmann here, great actor, by the way.
Yes.
Who the hell was he playing? Is he
the Baron von Strucker?
That's right. I was so mad how they did him ultimately. in these movies.
Yeah.
Because like he's a great actor that I'm like, oh, it would have been nice. Every time they get like a really killer actor, that character definitely dies way sooner than they should.
Or is just really characterized as kind of stupid. Like
right.
with Iron Man 3 when they got Osama bin Kingsley for the Mandarin, like that was amazing, and they just shat all over it. And I'm like,
That's
why?
So funny. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. You know, I had that weird thing where I kind of like some of that too.
I know, right?
Hate to be that guy. Oh man. They didn't think that this would be popular outside of the U.S., it turns out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. This is the reveal of when they were like, the miracles. Because they couldn't say the word mutant.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, they are so trying hard to get Fox to caved and give them the X-Men, but they're just going to... they are trying. They are on literally the cusp here.
Oh, you know they're doing something with it behind the scenes right now, and they've got a basic plan for how they want to do it.
They're trying for it. I mean, they're
if
still
I don't
going
get my
for
way
it.
in as an actor, but I get in as a director in the industry, that's my dream project. 'Cause
Well,
I'm like, I can handle this.
Well, you know what? I'm sure you would be much better at a first-time directing job on an X-Men film, infinitely more so than the guy whose first job was directing X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh man, can you imagine that? Well, he was a writer first, right? I mean,
Yeah.
these are all people that have clearly proven their worth. I'm nobody, but at the same time, I would imagine in a weird way, I bet the Marvel productions are easy for someone to get it because, like, the people that did Captain Marvel, for example, were like indie people.
Yeah.
And then they literally had never done anything to that scale at all. And because I really truly believe to a certain extent, it's more about, okay, oh, cool, the S.H.I.E.L.D. Interrogators 1 and 2, those were the script writers.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
that's
I just
right.
noticed that in the credits. Gary Sinise was narrating at the
Oh,
Smithsonian.
yeah, that's
hilarious.
right. I forgot about that. Lieutenant Dane.
Yeah, whatever happened to him, too? There's a lot of these dudes who are just like, yeah, I'll put an afternoon of work in the voice.
Yeah, sure, why not? Don't get me paid.
Yeah, right? It's so crazy.
Oh, we got
I'm trying to
all
remember what
these-
the second credits are.
But
But it's okay. Remember, you can't tell me. Is it
That's-
better than the first one?
I actually forget right off the top of my head. I'm
What
thinking
the second one is? Perfect.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
so we'll go into the dark together. It'll be fun. But
I didn't hear. Here's an Easter egg that we missed tonight that we didn't hear. Black Widow mentions Department H, and that's the people that ran Weapon X.
That's right. Yeah, they're setting seeds.
You know
for
they just
X-Men.
dropped hints every so often for this stuff,
There-
and at some
there's-
point it's gonna be cool.
Again, it's
I have like a nice beat sheet for my X-Men script idea, and like every so often I'll come back to it and put some notes and update some stuff. I've got a couple really cool sequences I always wanted to do.
Right
I
on.
also have I think the ending for it is such a clever idea. I'll tell you after the show is done.
Fuck
I
yeah.
think you would love it.
Fuck
I don't
yeah.
really. I won't give you all the details because it's obviously something.
You
I'm just
listen in Hollywood whenever the fuck you
yeah,
decide
one of
to
these days-
open.
listen. I'll work really cheap, guys. I just want my name in it, and I'd like a part of some sort. It doesn't have to be a big part, but
yeah,
I'm
just
definitely part of this
just
universe,
give him
okay?
$50 and a pen. Like
Like they don't think, and they know, like, you know what I mean. Like, come take a shot. Listen, your producers will make sure that I'm just screaming at actors all the time.
Yeah,
and getting
exactly.
the emotions I want. And then, you know what? I'm a leader. Okay, Disney. I know what I'm doing.
Exactly. I just kind of
One of
wish.
these days, dude.
I just kind of wish like I could go back in time, like back into like 2009 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and go to Warner Brothers and pitch them my idea for a Superman trilogy.
Oh,
Because
dude, can you imagine? Can you imagine being able to do that in the early 2000s before Bryan Singer ruined your chances to do that?
yeah, although you know what's crazy.
Also, can you imagine Bryan Singer
you know, it's,
preying on you at that age? He's such a piece of shit. I'm sorry to make light of that because he has actual victims and stuff. But
Yeah.
God, I hate that guy.
I have mixed feelings about him, but either way, it's just that I thought it would have been hilarious that Superman could have been my gateway into becoming a PA, because the weird part was Man of Steel was being shot in Plano, Illinois, where that was the place where they were doing downtown Smallville, like the big battle sequence with Zod and the army. That was being shot less than 10 minutes away from my house.
Oh my gosh.
So when I was in high school, I was just like, dude, I should just buy like an orange vest and just walk onto the show and be like, okay, what do you need me to do?
Would have been a smart idea.
It would have been, but I feel like, some union guy would have been like, who the fuck are you, kid? Like, get
Yeah.
that.
Well, you never know. At that level, you're like, hey, you just got to show up with coffee and donuts and the vest.
Yeah, okay, that's what I should have done. I should have gotten coffee for everybody. Like, just steal my mom's credit card. Just get coffee and donuts for the entire
There you go, for the
crew.
crew. See, you figured it out.
I should have
Dude,
done it. I should have.
I'm telling you.
And you know what?
No more shouldas in your life story. Just start
Yeah.
doing, and you'll watch everything change.
Yeah, I guess I was a little afraid of the stigma that I probably would have legitimately gotten arrested. But to be fair, looking back, that would have been an amazing story to tell.
It probably would have changed your life.
Probably, and maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. Maybe I would have got to that one PA or that one union key grip, one of the cool Teamsters. And he's like, I really appreciate the balls you have, kid.
Right.
We gotta say, get off. We gotta slap you on the wrist for this one, just as a courtesy thing.
Yeah.
But here's my card down the line. Come out to LA, we'll give you work. Okay, here we go. Here's the post credit. Oh, that's right. It's where Bucky goes back to the Smithsonian to learn about himself.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh shit! Like the look that he gives, and I love that all of this is done in just one shot.
Yeah. Although I wonder if that was a little edit there. The turn.
Possibly.
One of the pillars looked. I mean, if it wasn't, I could see it being both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This is just a simple little.
It's designed to look like one shot.
Right.
Which
for sure.
You still want to be. That's really appreciative, and it actually reminds me of the teaser will return in Avengers: Age of Ultron. But it reminded me of the post-credit scene in Infinity War, where it's Maria Hill and Nick Fury, and they get dusted off. When you actually go back and watch that all is one take. When they
cool.
or when they or at least it's like a cut of them behind, the camera's in the back seat and it's looking forward on the back of their heads. But as soon as they get out of the car, it's all just one shot, and you totally forget it because the camera keeps on moving. And I really wish they'd do more shots like that, because I love those shots where you just link everything together, because not only is it more visually interesting, but it also saves a shitload of time on set. Because
Oh yeah.
you're doing all these shot setups that you could potentially do, and you just do it all in one go. You just do a couple rehearsals for the actors, the lighting, the camera, and all that stuff. You do a couple of takes, and then boom, you're done. You move on to the next thing. Because when you're working in Hollywood, time is fucking money, man.
Oh, for sure.
Dude.
Shit, even when you're not working in Hollywood, time is money.
Oh, dude, yeah, no matter what. Time is money everywhere you go, especially now that no one fucking has money and Bezos pretty much has everything.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man, that was Winter Soldier. Still aged pretty good for you, because it's aged phenomenally now that I've seen it. Because especially,
yeah, I really feel like it did a great job. I think it did everything I wanted. You know what I mean? It was like a.
Mm-hmm.
I am just trying to think of what I like. I'm sitting here. Sorry, I was still looking at notes. I was kind of half making throughout it. No, I thought it aged great. I thought all the action really holds up. Again, for being a 6-year-old movie, it's kind of timeless. And one of the smart things Marvel's done here is that all the things that we kind of gave it a hard time for earlier, where you're like, oh, I'd have liked to see a little bit more artistic vision here. Right? I'd love to see some creative shots, all this stuff. The one nice thing is that there is I'm being nice.
Yeah.
There's a ton of visual sameness, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the whole franchise.
Well,
and so because of that, even though different directors are on it, it's made them all fit together, right? So you could watch 2 movies back to back, and you're like, yeah, there's definitely some little flourishes here and there are different. That suit the story and the characters, but it doesn't feel like such a wild swing. If we watch Guardians, it's not shot any crazier than this.
No.
And the characters are still relatable characters. They just look weird, right?
Yeah.
And so I think a smart thing Marvel's done is do that, because this is going to kind of be timeless now.
Yeah.
Because it's like this implaceable future that doesn't exist. There's enough tech that's like, you know, it's going to take 100 years for us to catch up to some of this shit, right? You know, it's like that right thing. I love this movie, man. It's definitely one of my more favorites. And it's funny, as a Marvel fan, I haven't really rewatched as many videos as I thought I would have, or movies rather, as I thought I would have. But, you know, this is definitely one. I feel like this is my third time seeing, because I saw it in I had a funny story. I had literally just broken up with like one of my last long-term relationships right before. It was a very weird, awkward end. And but I remember going to see the movie during that time and was just like, oh, I love this. And I was really worried that I was going to be like in a weird emotional place and not able to enjoy it. But this may sound even more silly, but in a weird way, I kind of tie some of my emotional maturing in life to that experience. Like, and I know they're not connected aside from like coincidental timing.
Yeah.
But it's like that funny thing where when I think back to this, I'm like, oh, I had like a nice turning point in my life where I like figured out some shit about myself and also saw Captain America Winter Soldier that weekend.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, like this is definitely my favorite out of Phase 2, which I think Honest Trailers was very, very smartly called this the groundbreaking experimental phase.
It's true. This and Guardians to me are top tier from the franchise.
Yeah, dude. Like, because I mean, it's if you really had to, like, you know, just hold me against a wall with a gun to my head and say what's the best Marvel movie, I would probably say either the first Iron Man or Black Panther. One of those two is probably the best. Not my favorite, but the best.
You know what's funny is I will. So I'll give you Iron Man for sure, right? Because it's like the template, and all the other movies at the end of the day are just different versions of Iron Man 1. I didn't really love Black Panther. Like,
dude,
I know I don't want that to be like a thing where people are like,
oh, you just lost so many people.
You want me to be honest with you though?
No, please.
In a weird way, I feel like it feels in a lot of ways that they cheaped out on a lot of it because they didn't think it would be successful. I think there's a lot of corners cut. And I feel like in a weird way, I'm like, it's really weird that you made this movie kind of to be like, yeah, we'll make the first like big budget but you know, because there was like Meteor Man that Robert Townsend made back in the day. But like this was like the first absurd budget all black cast, right? Or you know what I mean? Not all black, but you know what I mean? And it was a big deal in this momentous occasion. And I'm almost like, I know it's not my place to have really any feelings on this, but as an outsider, my thought the whole time was like, real funny that this is the one that you spent the least amount of money on. It's real funny that this is the one you cut corners. Why is the CG in this movie so terrible and literally never, ever in the Marvel franchise aside from Black Panther? And I'm not actually trying to be accusatory, right? Because like, but I remember talking to a friend after the movie. He's like, man, I thought it was great. And I was like, you didn't think it was weird that this looks like the cheapest Marvel movie yet? You know, but again, being nitpicky for the sake of
that's true. Like
our differences are what will bring us together. Tim.
Totally,
that's what'll make the show interesting. We can't love the same ones.
No, we can't.
I'm a bit of a hater in general, so I'm gonna push my role as the heel heavily throughout the series, and be like, "Oh, you love it? Well, listen, I have a few complaints. I have concerns.
So you're
Where's
the
my
bad
hear
cop.
me out button? Yeah, I'm gonna get my James Morlock hear me out button. This is one I always threaten for my my co-host on Weekly Hookup. We've wanted to get him a hear me out button forever. One of these days he'll get it. So
nice.
Yes. No, dude, this is a great time. I love watching the movies. It's been fun. I think even doing it remote the way we did is kind of great.
Yeah. I honestly, I really can't wait for next month because I really want this to be kind of more of a monthly thing. Let us know in the comments if you're digging it, because I don't know about you. I don't know about you cats back home, but I'm certainly digging it.
Yeah, me too. We should see on social. We should see if they will give us some suggestions of movies they'd love to see us talk about and have conversations during.
Absolutely, dude.
And then we'll still just pick what we want to do, but it's the illusion of freedom. I'm really just tying it into the next
This is
movie.
America, damn it. Where you only have an illusion of freedom. Okay. God, that got unusually dark.
See? Well, I'm here for it. That's why you asked me.
Indeed. All right, well, this is gonna wrap up this episode. You guys can catch us next month. We're actually going to be doing a
Should we tell them yet?
No, I'll just say that we're doing a non-MCU Marvel movie. That's what I'm gonna.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
You know what I will do?
What's that?
Here's how we're gonna gamify this for the audience.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw in. Let's do a $10 gift card. I'll do an Amazon gift card because that seems like a good place. But if the winner really wants one, so long as I can purchase it online, I will give a $10 gift card to whoever guesses first.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Listen out there, people.
So you just got it whenever Tim posts, because you're going to post this on the Comtrack page, right?
Yes, I'm going to post it on the Comtrack page. It's going to be
And we'll make sure that the contest rules are way more clear than my shitty offer here. But I just want to get people involved in this series early on. And the only way I know how is to buy your affection with a somewhat helpful Amazon gift card. Listen, I'm poor too, guys. I'm just trying to make you listen to our shit.
see and here I thought you actually were the bad cop, but you're actually the bad cop at work, but the really sweethearted, stepdad who gives you an extra $5.
I'm the misunderstood cop. That's the thing, is you think I'm the bad cop because I'm telling you all the shit you don't want to hear about, the things you love, about yourself. I am the person giving you those harsh truths that in the beginning of the third act you go, fuck, Mark is always right about everything. That's my skill set. And nobody likes that guy at first until it pays off for them, which is why I'm offering a $10 Amazon gift card, or like I said, to a place of your choosing if I can purchase it online if you guess the movie first. And let's say this so make sure you don't have those assholes that are just going to type in literally every fucking movie they've ever heard of. Jurassic Park, you're an idiot, and I'm going to take $10 from that person. But each person only gets one entry.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Whatever
loophole.
you type in. Yeah, and if you edit that shit or delete it, I'm going to take $20 from that person, meaning I like you less than the person that didn't even follow the instructions.
We're going to look them up, and we're going to come to them Jay and Silent Bob style. Like, are you Venom
go.
Striker 235? Like, come here, just punch him in.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. See, that's a reference. I get that reference. Awesome. Well, Tim, it's been a pleasure for real. Audience, It's been a pleasure.
Yes, and this is we'll be seeing you next month and for hopefully every other month to come, because love having you on here.
And coming.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, this has been an episode of
arriving to things. I don't know what everyone's all upset about.
Shut the hell up.
This is an all nut related podcast now. Welcome everyone. You got in. This is the only fan segment of tonight's show. I'm sorry. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, this has been an episode of Comtrack where you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. Peace.